Hell Followed With Us by Andrew Joseph White. Chapter 16. If you feel the flood within you, do not fret. God is calling you home. Reverend Brother Morrison's Judgment Day Sermon. Cormac kicks me awake the next morning. His designer boot-clad foot hits the edge of my mattress and waves around like a worm sticking out of a hole. Shit. Did he notice the missing supplies? Did he catch me sneaking back in last night? What the hell do you want? I snap. You're late. His foot disappears just before he knocks aside the bedsheet curtain. I pull my blanket up to my nose. We're heading out and Nick wants you with us. Get cracking. Great. I got back from Reformation late, and now the sun is barely up. I can't change if you're watching me. Piss off. Well, hurry up. Cormac drops the sheet and leaves. I press the heels of my hands into my face and give myself 3 seconds to rest before shoving myself out of bed. This time, it's me, Nick, Cormac, and Faith, which makes sense because Aisha has been a mess recently, and Salvador skipped the last meeting, which is never a good sign. Plus, with the way Salvador was being stared at last time, I wouldn't blame them for not wanting to come. I help Faith pull the cart, and I think she smiles, but it doesn't get to her eyes. Is Aisha holding up? I ask her on the way, while we're cutting across a street littered with potholes. The best she can, Faith sighs. Sadaf is with her now. I know she doesn't need a babysitter, but I'm still worried about her. She can hold her own, Cormac cuts in. Nick's eyes flick to him preemptively. She's a grown-up. She's 18. She's younger than us both. And yet we're carrying around the elementary schooler. I snort. I'm 16. Jesus, you're 16? Cormac looks to Faith and Nick in turn, like one might also see the obvious absurdity of having a slightly younger teenager in a militia made of teenagers. No wonder you didn't do shit at the church. Easy, Nick warns. Why are we even bringing him if all he does is stand there or hide? I bare my teeth under my mask. It would solve everything if I just lay it out for him. I'm the reason the Grace didn't tear his head off at the church the moment they realized he was there. I'm the reason he's not just as dead as those angels. I am turning into a monster, and I am using this monster to help him survive. Nick slams the flat of his arm into Cormac's chest and pushes him back. Aisha already did a number on you, he says, so I'm not going to repeat it. But do everyone a favor and shut up. And you're still defending him? Cormac sneers in Nick's face. God. Nobody likes the way that sounds. We all get a little too quiet. Or maybe we're just as quiet as we should be, walking through a city like this. We meet the vanguard at the same pavilion in Wagner Commons. The body at the tree shows the days of rot, sagging against the ropes, skin mottled and eaten away by scavengers. The sad trees and skyscrapers feel more oppressive than they had been before. Everything has eyes. Everything is watching, trying to catch a glimpse of Sarah, the flood creeping out from my veins. If you really do walk by faith and not by sight, 2 Corinthians 5:7, then I have faith that every damn thing in this city knows what's wrong with me, and it's worming its way into my head with everything else. Morning, kids, Joey chirps, helping his buddies haul their cart up on the table. The others, with their patches and stocky body armor, make a semicircle around us like we'll lunge for the supplies if we aren't held back. What have you been up to? You called us awful quick. He isn't happy to be back, no matter what his tone says. It's in the way his squad holds their shoulders, the way they study us. Of course the Vanguard isn't happy. They don't want to be this deep in the city. They don't want to be this close to us. They don't want to give their supplies to a bunch of kids, but they made a deal and now they have to live with it. Nick says, let's see it. Skipping the pleasantries, Joey and a second man, the one who holds his gun weirdly at his crotch, tear the tarp off their cart. There it is. Water and food and socks. Masks and bandages and painkillers. Replacements for what I stole for Theo. All right, Joey says, pay up. Cormac hands over the bag to the woman, who holds it with one hand and a rifle against her chest with the other. They're mirrors of each other, and for the moment when they're both holding the ears, they look like they're going to lunge and wrestle each other down to the concrete. They don't. She takes the ears, plastic-looking dead things, and counts them. She holds every one up to the sun between the skyscrapers, checks that each is from the left. Faith stares at the cracks in the floor, at the grass coming up between her boots. Cormac watches Joey and Nick watches the rafters. I watch the city. That's why I see the girl. At first, I'm not sure what I'm looking at. Maybe another corpse across the pond, one I hadn't noticed my first time at the Commons, clothes fluttering in the breeze coming up low over the grass. maybe a deer on its hind legs to reach a tree's softer branches. But there's hair held back with a clip, torn jeans, and a shirt stained all the way down the front with rot. Nick. I moved my lips, but I'm not sure any sound came out. Nick. The time it takes for Nick to look at me, figure out something's wrong, and track my gaze across the pond is probably less than 2 seconds, but it feels like forever. And when Nick sucks in a sharp breath, that's the death blow. That's when everyone notices it at once. Something is very, very wrong. There's a girl across the pond. She's 11, maybe 12, the same age as one of the boys who died on the floor of Reformation Faith Evangelical Church, whose ear sits in that bag. The age of the tiny skeletons Dad and I found while crossing Acheson, curled in a bed with their parents, realized the world was burning and it would be better for the little ones to die quickly. She moves slowly. Too slowly, dragging one foot behind her. Ah, shit, Joey mutters, pulling his rifle to his front. We got a sick one. No, he's going to shoot her. Cormac takes the safety off his gun, pushing through the crowd to the edge of the pavilion. Seraph burns in my throat, right where the flood comes up. They can't do this. She's a kid. She's harmless. Just like the choir boys were harmless. They had weapons. We did what we had to. Cormac, Faith says, voice trembling. What are you doing? Cormac doesn't look at her. Don't play stupid. He's going to shoot her. Her foot catches on a rock. She stumbles and sludge falls from her mouth to the grass. She makes an awful keening noise, barely human. Nick winces. The fingers on his right hand stretch so much he's going to shatter something. I whisper so quietly I'm barely speaking. Please go. Go. They're going to hurt you. I remember when the Grace stood over me in a pile of angel bodies. When the Grace at the cafe stared into my eyes, recognizing me for what I am. When the Grace in the rescue mission threw Nick to the ground to protect me. When the Grace broke down a door to flee the angels. When the nest of the not quite dead in Reformation cried for me. I'll be good. I'll be good, I promise. I don't want them to hurt you too. Please go. Nothing happens. The girl hits the gravel path. The cracks in her skin are visible now, breaking open like a bloated corpse. God, the woman in the vanguard whispers. What the hell? I'm going to need you to back up, Cormac calls out, sharp and commanding. Everything that Joey is trying and failing to be. The members of the vanguard look at one another warily. Cormac's gaze does not falter. We will fire. Get away. Nothing's happening. It's not working. Her eyes are too bright. She's still too alive. The flood is devouring her, but it hasn't devoured enough. My words mean nothing. She's not a Grace. She's just a scared little girl. The same kind of little girl I was when Mum took me to New Nazareth. When she became more of a monster than the heathens. The people lost to the devil, who would be sacrificed to the Lord to save our souls and theirs in turn. Or maybe she'd always been that way. I can't remember these days. I said back up, Cormac snaps. No. I say it before I can stop myself, grabbing his sleeve. Put that down. What? Just trust me. Cormac coughs out a sick-sounding noise. Trust you? Joey says, what the hell are you talking about? She's not a monster, I say. She's a kid. I could have said the same for the choir boys. I could always say the same for something else. If you want to talk to her, I will. Joey says, talk to her? Faith says, Benji, don't. Cormac says, don't you dare. Nick says nothing. Nick is the only person whose opinion I give a shit about. I step off the concrete foundation and into the grass. The sun soaks into my black clothes. Turns what should be winter into near summer, burning the earth like God's wrath, setting fire to the grasses and trees. We meet between the pavilion and the pond, on the edge of the path. Her head lolls, and her eyes whirl like a scared animal. Her breathing is wet and laboured, her lungs full of fluid. Dissolving from the inside, turning into something else, the same thing that's happening to me. Oh God, this is me. This is me. Hey, I murmur. Soft nonsense, anything to calm her, to keep her from screaming. This is me. This is me. Hey there, she says, sick burbling up with each word. It hurts. This is me. If Nick hadn't found me, I would have become a half-dead kid wandering the city, stumbling up to the first person I saw, begging for help they couldn't give. My skin cracking, black shit coming up my throat as my organs are eaten away. I'm still going to be this no matter what. Just with 4 walls and some people who might not kill me. Might. I know it hurts, I whisper, but you need to leave. It's going to hurt more if you keep walking towards us. She stares, but her eyes aren't focused on me. She doesn't have long. You need to get away. Get away. Almost like this can make up for the dead boys in Reformation, for the ears in that bag, for what the Watch has to do to keep our people safe, alive, and okay. Instead of Sarah's warmth, there is a deep, rough sound. The sound of grinding teeth, of breaking bones. Her face shatters into a spray of pieces, coming apart in chunks barely held together with stretches of sinew and flood. Eyes, teeth, tongue. Rot splatters my mask and hair. Her fingers curl back and bones tear out into claws. She shrieks loud enough she could bring the whole world down around us, and she yanks me closer by the lapels of my jacket until her massive dripping teeth are inches from my face. I say stop. She stops. Trembling. As her body crumbles and breaks apart around her, she stops. And there's a crack like thunder and her body jerks once. Crack again. Black-red blood seeps out of her shirt as she stumbles and tries to hold on to me. But it isn't enough, and she hits the grass dead. Her body doesn't make nearly enough noise for how loud it feels. Exodus 21:23-25. But if there is harm, then you shall pay life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, stripe for stripe. Those boys died in Reformation, and she will die in turn because that is how the world works. In what world was my God ever a benevolent one? I didn't even try to save them. So what gives me the right to save her just to make myself feel better? How dare I call myself good? How dare I even try? She convulses once. Her insides leak into the dirt just like Dad's insides did. Her face broken like Dad's face. Bile rises in the back of my throat and I swallow it because I can't throw up here, not in front of the Vanguard and everyone else. My eyes water with the strain of it, and it's the closest I've come to crying in a long time. I hate it. The stick snaps behind me. I turn, trying to breathe and failing. Nick is stepping down from the pavilion. Every member of the Vanguard has their guns trained on me. He holds out a new mask, taken from the Vanguard's cart still wrapped in plastic. Catch, he says. He tosses it to me. I fumble. It hits the grass and he backs away to let me pick it up. We do the same dance with a rag taken from the Vanguard's stash, wet with water from Faith's bottle. I clean myself and show off the gore-stained rag, fingers splayed. It goes on the ground too. Everybody waits. We wait a long time. Long enough that a flock of birds comes to the trees and sweat trickles down my spine, pooling in the excess material of my sports bra. Long enough that my feet start to hurt from standing so still. The body smells, but I'm used to it. I stand in the sun with a dead girl until I finally say, none of it got in my mouth. Or your eyes? Joey says. Or my eyes. I think some of it did, but it doesn't matter. I'm fine. She didn't bite you or claw you? I'm fine. Unzip your jacket. I do what Joey asks, even though they can make out the curve of my chest. I even pull down the collar of my shirt so they can see the skin her claws graze. There's no mark. Finally, Joey relents. He nods and I walk back up to the pavilion, trying not to notice the way the other members of the Vanguard keep too close an eye on me, too hard a grip on their weapons. The lady in the Vanguard doesn't bother counting the rest of the ears. She dumps them out, gives them one good look and says, take the supplies and leave. We get every box and every crate, but it feels just as hollow as failure. Halfway back to the ALC, Faith calls an apologetic stop for a leg cramp, and Cormac takes the opportunity to drag me behind a tractor trailer. I've been thinking about the girl the entire walk, and I barely recognize that Cormac is in my face until he's shoving me. I hit the side of the truck and my guts burn, but slowly. A dying fire, exhausted and smothered. I snap, what? It takes Cormac a second of seething to put words together. His face flushed almost as red as his hair, pieces of it sticking to his forehead, and when he does, he says, do you have any idea how badly you just fucked us over? Girl's broken face swallows me whole when I blink. I want to stick a finger down my throat and get it all out. I messed up, leave me alone. Who knows if the Vanguard is going to answer us next time we call? He jabs a finger into my chest, right into the empty space of my sports bra. As much as I would love to grab Cormac's hand and bend it back so hard it snaps at the wrist, I don't. And it's on you. Even if Nick won't say it, I will. When we run out of food, I'll make sure everybody knows it's your fault. Nick won't let you, I say. I don't give a shit. He'll come to his senses. He'll admit it, because you want to know something? You want to hear something, Ben? He comes up close. Too close. Close enough that his hair gets in my face. Close enough that I can feel how warm he is. If it weren't for the mask, I could have tasted him. Cormac says, Nick's been calling you an it. Chapter 17. Violence that begets evil will always be worse than the violence that ends it. The Lord will guide our hands. We will drive a wedge between the faithless through blood, and they will understand the evil they come from. They will understand the truth of salvation and come to us in repentance. The Truth by High Reverend Father Ian Clevenger. Don't say shit like that. You don't believe me? Ask him. See what happens. And I said, fine, I will. The ALC erupts when we bring in the supplies. I clean up and change clothes at sound of surging, then help with the inventory because it keeps me in the same room as Nick. People flow around me, peeling open boxes, handing off packages of socks, cradling painkillers like Fabergé eggs. You good? Aisha says as she piles cans in the pantry. What? She's staring at me. I'm glad to see her out and about, even if she looks like she hasn't slept in days. Oh, yeah, I'm good. Just waiting for Nick to finish up. Sorry, I'll get out of your way. She picks up a few tins of Spam. Rough trip? Something like that. When Cormac said Nick was calling me it, my first thought was awful. What if Nick is just super transphobic? That doesn't make any sense. Nick and Erin are so close, they might as well be siblings. And Yob is around her like some kind of guard dog, making sure nobody steps out of line. He wouldn't dare do something like that. Not when he adores her. And there's no way he thinks I'm just a grace. An abomination. No, he can't. That's just not an option. The only explanation is that Cormac is lying. He has sneered at me in the media room, talked down to me, wants me gone, and now he wants me to turn on Nick. Make a scene, get myself kicked off the watch and even out to the ALC. I'm going to call his bluff. As soon as we're done restocking and everyone has taken a small treat from the pantry, a can of pears and juice split among many people, a handful of stale chips for the rest, I see Nick's jacket slipping through a crack in the kitchen door and I give chase. Erin squeaks as I blow past her. Nick, I call. Nick, can we talk for a second? I catch him at the bottom of the stairs to the second floor, leaning against the door with a sign reading, Fire door, keep closed, do not block. He turns with a start. About what? I don't know how to explain without just spilling everything right here. Can we go somewhere private first? He nods for me to follow him up the stairs. I do. I just have to talk this through and everything will be fine. It'll be fine. But my jaw is still chattering with nerves. Nick takes me to a room on the second floor with a label outside the door, Volunteer Coordinator, another office. It's been converted to a small bedroom, complete with a mattress in the corner and shoes shoved by the door. He's collected piles of books on warfare, white supremacy, religion, and the history of environmentalism, and sacks of old newspapers gone soft around the edges. Containers of plastic pony beads and half a dozen incomplete bead lizards sit on the desk in the corner. And, of course, the windows are boarded shut from the inside. I hadn't realized Nick gets his own room, but it makes sense. This must be where he goes when he disappears. I imagine him locking the door and dropping his head into his hands, sucking in deep breaths, preparing to hold his chin high the next time we need him. Nick ushers me inside. So, he says, wandering over to the desk and picking up a pink bead. Talk. I start with, I want to say up front that I'm not accusing you of anything. Since being raised a good Christian girl will do things to you, will make you hedge topics and soften blows no matter how much seraph you have in you. Though maybe that makes it worse, because Nick's eyes narrow. Frankly, I don't believe it. I just wanted to get it out there and spit it out. Right. No beating around the bush. Cormac said you were calling me an it. The bead stops rolling between his fingers. A lump appears in my throat, but I keep going. That's what I want to talk about. He's been like this ever since I showed up, and look, I can put up with a lot, believe me, but he's actively trying to turn me against you, and that is not okay. I wanted to bring it up to you before it got worse. Does that make sense? Nick says nothing. The silence makes me itch. That makes sense, I say. Right? Nick says, then he stops like the word got caught on something. It takes him a second to start back up. I can't discuss this right now. I don't... My eye twitches. I don't get it. He repeats slower, as if I didn't hear him the first time. I can't discuss this right now. Right. Okay. I gesture to the door. If you need me to piss off and give you space after this morning, I totally get it. I'll give you all the space in the world. I just need you to, I don't know, clear the air. Tell me Cormac is a liar, then I'll go, okay? Just tell me he's lying. He doesn't. He doesn't say anything. My heart throbs in my throat like it's trying to come up. You can write it down if you can't talk, I say. Or you can tell me that he's telling the truth. I don't think he's telling the truth, but if he is, you can tell me that too. Because if he is, I feel like we should talk about that instead. Just whatever it is, give me a yes or no. I don't care how, and I'll leave you alone. I swear. What if Cormac is right? If Cormac is right. Benji? Nick says. His jaw barely moves. He's trying really hard to get the words out. I won't talk about this. Nick reads the letter. Nick read the letter. He knows what I am. He knows what I was. He knew the girl I used to be, the 20th host of the virus, the angel's monster. He knew that long before he ever met me. Oh, God. What if that's all he sees? Now I'm fighting to get words out too. Fine. Then I'll stand right here until you will. A long, heavy breath shakes in his chest. He puts down the bead, and that's what gives his fingers free rein to curl into something painful, knuckles turning white. I almost feel bad. Almost. Finally, he manages. I know what you're thinking. This isn't him standing in front of the watch. This is him crumbling in front of the vanguard. This is him weak. I know what you're thinking, and it's not like that. Like hell it isn't. I step forward, and a flicker of fear passes behind his eyes. First time I've seen it since the Grace forced him down at the shelter. I relish it. Good. I tear down my mask and batter my teeth so you can see the jagged tooth sticking out of my gums. So you did? And you're too much of a coward to admit it? It's like flipping a switch. Nick roars. Get the fuck out of my room. I stumble. For half a second, that's it, but it's long enough. Enough to remember how Theo screamed at me before he hurt me. The way I cowered, the way I begged him to stop. I was so weak then. Helpless. But I'm not helpless now. The virus burns so hot it turns the edge of my vision white. Angel robes, the white horse, one of the most dangerous parts of the flame. Nick was supposed to get it. Out of everyone, he's supposed to be the one who understands I'm not what the angels made me. He's supposed to be the one that gets it. And here he is, using a pronoun like it. It. Like I'm not even an animal, just an object, a hunk of flesh, a vessel for something else. The same thing the angels thought I was. I hate that I can't cry. I want to sob. I want to do something, anything to get this pressure out of my head. This awful thing building behind my eyes. I hate it so much. And if I can't tear Nick to pieces, I need to get it out. No, you listen to me. My voice comes out in a terrible pained rasp. Listen to me. My name is Benjamin Woodside. I'm gay and trans as hell. I am a boy. My pronouns are he, him, and I am a goddamn person. That is everything the angels never let me have. Everything I am. I joined the Watch because I thought you understood that. If I knew you were going to be like my fucking mum, I never would have stayed. I thought you were better than them. Feels like I've pulled out a thorn, yanked a spear out of my ribs, and now there's an open wound I don't know what to do with. Just the relief that it's out. Nick's eyes widen. His pupils are so dark they've devoured every part of his eyes. The whites gleam in terror. Good. I hope he's scared. I hope it hurts him as much as I hurt right now, so much as it hurts for the seraph to burn across my cheeks and sinks its fangs into my jaw. I hope. Pap. There's a soft noise at my feet. So quiet I almost don't hear it. Pap. I look down. A black red drop sits on the tile floor, splattered from the impact. Another falls from my chin and hits the ground. Pap. Soft, but sharp on the tile. Something hot and wet trickles down my cheek and gathers at the point of my jaw, where it soaks into my pulled-down mask before finally falling. Again. Pap. I open my mouth, probably to say, what's happening, and half my face goes loose. There's air on parts of me that shouldn't feel air. Nick won't stop staring. Slowly I touch my face. My right cheek is torn all the way back to the muscle of my jaw. An open wound streaks from the corner of my mouth halfway to my ear, exposing the grace fang and all the teeth, tongue, and receding gums. A flap of loose skin dangles. Pap. Pap, pap, pap. Then the whole piece sloughs off and hits the ground with a wet splat. It's festering at the edges, pocked with decay, yellow and black and grey and red. I watch this happen to the martyrs. I stare until Nick pushes a ragged shirt in against my face. The white of my vision swallows almost everything, and I slump to the floor. I tilt my head forward to keep the rot from taking up my entire throat and choking me. I let it all fall into the shirt until it soaks through the trickles between my fingers, warm and slick. Just tell me if he was lying. When I speak, all this shit splatters my hands. It trails off my chin, and I can't catch it all. There's so much. I swear I'll clean this up and leave. I will. I'll bundle up the piece of my face and bury it out back with my tooth so nobody will find it. I'll make sure my mask covers the wound and pack it with tissue so it doesn't bleed through. I'll clean it up and go. Instead of answering, Nick picks a notebook off the table. My hair falls into my face and I remember the bobby pins he gave me. Why did I ever take them out? I reach into my pocket with my free hand. I need to get my hair out of the blood. It's just one more thing to clean, and find my knife instead. The click of a pen is almost deafening. Nick writes for a second and very carefully hands me a little note. It reads, I'm sorry. He did. Cormac wasn't lying. I take a deep breath because it's all I can do right now. In, out, blood and sludge comes out with the air. Maybe I need to start getting used to this. It's only going to get worse. All right, I say, and it sounds like something final. I hand him both the note and the knife. When I free the knife from my pocket, bobby pins fall out and scatter on the tile. Nick doesn't move to take it, any of it. So I put it all on the floor between us instead. I don't know what the hell this means, so I'll leave that up to him. I just don't want that knife in my pocket when he's the one who gave it to me. Chapter 18. Do you want to know why we do this? Love. It's always love. Reverend Father Duncan of Washington, D.C. I don't want to think about what I said to Nick. I don't want to think about what he said to me. We clean the floor of his room in silence, refusing to look at each other. Then I hide in my own room to peel off the rest of the rotten parts. It doesn't hurt, the same way peeling a sunburn doesn't hurt. It's all dead tissue anyway. No nerve endings. Nothing capable of feeling pain. I spend a minute or so staring at the collected shreds, all the little pieces of me. After I sneak out to bury the mess, I stop in the laundry room to look at myself in the mirror. My left cheek, or what remains of it, is a riot of tattered flesh and open wounds. You can see my grace fang and pale receding gums. Even with my mouth shut, my tongue pulses in the gap between my teeth. Saliva glitters in the dim light. I test my vowels, my consonants, my syllables to make sure I still sound all right. A bit garbled, but nothing I can't keep hiding. When I can't stand looking anymore, I put my mask back on. A thick fabric, one that hides everything from the eyes down. With this, I just look tired, hungry, distant, not like I'm falling apart. I fall asleep early and wake up while the moon is high in the sky, so I can go back to Reformation Faith Evangelical Church. I sneak out the courtyard gate and into the city, where the stars still shine, the clouds still move across the sky, and nothing cares that I might as well be dying. It's a beautiful night. I could watch it forever. I can't, though. I need Theo, the way I've always needed him. Halfway through the walk, I pull off my mask. There's nobody to hide from anymore. It's like changing out of the dress I ran in, like watching snips of dark auburn hair gather around my feet. Not quite sure what to do with myself, desperately trying to understand this new body. Trying to figure it out. What does it mean? What does this flesh want? What does the world want from it? What kind of monster do I want to be? At least a face like this will make people think twice before making snap judgments about what I am. It's harder for someone to pin you down as a girl when they need a moment to pin you down as human. Theo is in the sanctuary, praying. In the front pew, hands clasped, head hung and eyes closed. He's so perfectly still, he could be a statue or a corpse. The sight doesn't sit well with me. All I can think of is him whimpering for forgiveness at the foot of the altar in New Nazareth. The wounds on his back leap in blood. So lost he wouldn't answer even when I laid my hands on him and said his name. Here, now, I stop in the threshold and gently call, Theo? He doesn't open his eyes, but he says, Back already? My supplies will last me another few days at least. I shuffle my feet. No, they won't. I hate that he thinks I'd only come back to keep him from going hungry. Bad day, I explain. I just wanted to see you. He pats the spot next to him, still not looking. Every eye of the nest turns to me instead, mouths opening and closing as if beckoning. I do as they ask, sitting beside Theo on the pew, and Theo settles a hand on my leg and goes right back to praying. I managed to find solace in prayer. I found respite in it, even if I had to force it. It's a chance to step away from everything for a little bit, in a way I couldn't even when I was with Theo. I could follow along with the reverence chant, my own silent words or the prayers I memorized down to their bones, and forget everything else. It was just me, the words, and the air in my lungs. The problem is, I always felt like I was talking to myself. All the other angels talked about their personal relationship with God and Jesus, how prayer was a conversation with their Savior, how they took the Spirit inside themselves and knew that the Lord was listening. Even when I was little, before New Nazareth and the angels, Mum would take me to church and say, Can you feel it, baby girl? Isn't it glorious? I tried to feel it. I did, I swear. I reached for it, squeezed my eyes shut as tight as I could and begged for it. I pretended I was stretching my hands out into the darkness behind my eyelids, fingers splayed wide, trying to find even the barest touch of something out there in the abyss. To feel the warmth Mum always assured me was waiting once I accepted God into my heart. There was nothing. Always nothing. Maybe that's how it's supposed to be. Maybe you're not supposed to feel that touch. Maybe it's always been a metaphor. God is an absent parent who demands loyalty despite never coming around, and I just have to keep throwing my prayers into nothing and trust he gets them. Or maybe I am just too broken to feel him in the first place. So instead of prayer being a conversation, it became something else. A time to myself. A time to relax, to center, to set things right. Do I think he exists? Heaven, hell, all of it? I don't know. So I sit beside Theo and pray too. I pray for everything I can think of, for this world to hold together for as long as it can, for the angels to stay away, for all the survivors to make it another day, for everything to turn out okay this time. Oh Lord, we need you today and every day. Please lend us your strength. Lead and guide us. Amen, Theo says out loud, startling me. Amen, I say in turn, even though I wasn't done. His eyes flutter open and he looks at me, jerks back and says, What the hell? There it is. I offer a smile, but Lord knows how it looks on my face. Told you. I had a bad day. Theo stammers, mouth uselessly flapping as he scrambles for words. To fear and to keep, I remind him. I know. God, I know. Finally, he collects himself. He blinks slowly, wrangles his breathing into something even. Does it hurt? Not really. Not anymore. I run my tongue over my exposed teeth. But my pain scale is screwed, considering everything. He pulls me closer. Hands lingering on my hips, shoulders, arms, cheeks. The way they always have. Look at you, he says. It's so soft it almost scares me. It's still you. You don't have to say that. I mean it, he insists. It's still you. I'll prove it. He takes off his mask and kisses me. He what? I push him away. Theo, what are you doing? Kissing you? There's a smear on his cheek. Blood rot. Infected blood. Seraph isn't contagious. Sister Kipling made sure it couldn't be transferred through any of the usual paths. Spit, blood, nothing. Blood, nothing. The way Mum put it, Seraph was always meant to bear the weight of salvation alone. It wouldn't do to have the gift of God's strength be diluted through the unworthy. It wouldn't do, she said, for an army to be half generals. Just like there is one God, one king, one leader, there shall be one Sarah. The point of Seraph has always been control. That's not... You can't seriously... His face falls. Do you not want me to kiss you? I don't know if the idea disgusts me or intrigues me. Both, probably. I don't want to find out. You don't have to. But I want to. And I want to do other things too. The way his voice dips, his hands tighten. Oh God, he's talking about sex. I want to hide my festering face in my hands. This is you. This is still you, and I missed you. He cradles my jaw, and despite myself, despite everything, I lean into him. I don't care about this. It's still you. He's not lying. He is completely, utterly honest. I want to tell him how awful of an idea it is, how he'll regret it, how much I missed him, and I'll take anything he gives me. He says cautiously, I can kiss something else. My embarrassed laughter comes out as a squeal. Theo, do not phrase it like that. I phrase it that way for a reason. I swear to God, don't bring him into this. But we're both giggling, and his hands push under my shirt and find the edge of my sports bra and get under that too. He kisses my not torn cheek, the crook of my jaw, all the way down my neck. He gets to the dip of my collarbone. I unzip my jacket for him. The quiet noise he makes when he gets to the soft skin of my shoulder makes me brace myself on the pew. It's just like it used to be. Theo mumbles against me, fingers winding through my belt loops. Cargo shorts. I bite down a laugh as I fumble with the button. How sexy of me. He snorts. I put up with a lot for the sake of being into men. Men. I'm a man. Theo has seen me as a man from the moment I told him. I've always been his boyfriend, his fiancé, his future husband. Always Benjamin, always me. All that gets reduced to an elegant, yay! That's kind of the point, Theo says. He kneels on the dirty carpet between my knees, and I missed this. I needed this. Jesus, I needed him. Let me do something for you, I insist afterward, even though I couldn't move if I tried. Theo pulls a pack of ancient tissues out of his pocket, which means he planned this, and I don't have the energy to be annoyed. I just wrestle my ass back into my pants and stare up at the ceiling of the church, where the ribs arch towards the spine. Nope, he says, don't even think about it. He climbs up off the floor to sit beside me. Been a while? I can't believe you. He brandishes the used tissue like a weapon. I yelp and throw my hands up. Still you, remember? He says. Still me. Yeah, whatever. The church is beautiful at night. The grace rustles gently, all their eyes half closed as if trying to catch the smallest snippet of rest. Night wind blows in through the destroyed front doors. The barest streams of moonlight shine through the stained glass windows. I can't stay long. There's no telling what will happen tomorrow, considering what Nick and I said to each other. At the very least, I need a few hours of sleep to tackle the inevitable shit show. Help me up, I plead. Theo pulls me that as soon as I'm on my feet, I'm against his chest. He doesn't waste a second in wrapping his arms around my waist and pressing his face to my shoulder. I almost feel bad that Grace had to watch, he says. Almost. I laugh into his neck, right where I come up to on him. Call it payback for making me puke my guts out. Theo has no idea what it's like to puke your guts out. Not like I do. It's late, I murmur against him. I should head out. Theo snorts. Come on, you're going to leave after that? I nudge him, almost knocking the two of us off balance. But it does make him let me go. You want me to stay and cuddle? Look, as much as I'd love to, I have to get back before somebody notices I'm gone. They have nightly check-ins? Like a hospital? Well, no, but... He squeezes my arm. I miss you. I don't like the way he's holding me. I remember him wrenching my wrist so hard I screamed for him to let go. He was hurting me. He's going to break something. His spit dripping down my cheek and drying on the neck of my dress. I miss you too, I say, but I can't look suspicious. They don't take risks. And I'm making the ALC sound worse than they are just because I want him to let me go. He needs to let me go. They'll kill me if they find me sneaking out. Theo's grasp tightens once, just enough that it sucks the air out of my chest, and then releases. He takes a half step back, but it's not far enough. Benji, he whispers. I'm sorry. I'm the one apologizing. Why is it always me? It's late, I'm tired, and... Please stay. He sounds so small. The way he did in the balcony when he first found me. The way he did on the chapel floor at his father's feet bleeding out. He says please. I say, okay, can I just... Is there a decent place to go to the bathroom around here? I can show you. You are not walking me out to take a piss. Just tell me. He points me to where, and as soon as I'm out of his sight, I yank open the back door of the Reformation Faith Evangelical Church and leave. I do not look back, not once. And when I reach the Acheson LGBTQ Center, it's burning. Chapter 19. Those who obey God and his commands shall be blessed. The way faithful men have always been blessed. But those who turn from him, he is wrath. He is fire. He tells us where to burn. Reverend Mother Woodside's Sermon. Genesis 19:28. And he looked towards Sodom and Gomorrah, and toward all the land of the plain, and beheld, and lo, the smoke of the country went up as smoke of a furnace. Hebrews 12:29. For God is a consuming fire. Luke 3:16. He will baptize you with the Holy Spirit and fire. O Lord our God, what the fuck happened? The planks that used to seal the front door of the Acheson LGBTQ Center lie in shards across the steps. Flames billow out of the gaping hole left behind and reach through every broken window, up to the sky, with a low demonic rumble cut by the high-pitched cracking of embers. Just like the bridges burning on Judgment Day, columns of smoke rising high over Acheson as they all crashed into the water. A gunshot, and another, and a scream and a shriek, long, high, and furious. I would recognize the cry of a grace anywhere. I put on my mask and sprint towards the flames. The heat hits half a block away. It's a dry heat that sucks the moisture from the eyes and makes me choke. Bright white flame shines in shards of glass on the road, on abandoned cars, doubled in storefront windows, hemming me in like the Lord casting us from him. Depart from me, ye cursed, into everlasting fire. I've kept running through worse. The courtyard fence is demolished, broken to pieces just like the front door. I clamber over splinters and nails, and I scrape my palm on a jagged edge. An angel, there, flinging open the back entrance of the ALC, raising a hand against the smoke that comes out to greet him. And a grace. A grace built like they were gutted doing a backbend bridge, stretched to grotesque proportions, extra arms lashed to limbs, another face peeking from their neck. They see me. The angel sees me too. He lifts his gun. He can't pull the trigger. He wouldn't dare kill me. But can he tell who I am? With the smoke, the fire, and the screaming. Dad's bloody flower face comes crashing back, teeth and tongue gleaming in his broken head, and all I can see, it's all I can taste until the angel opens fire on the grace. The grace wails, heartbroken and pitiful, staggering back and hitting the courtyard wall. Two long arms wrap around their head to protect their brain. The flash of gunfire and the orange glow of the blaze lights up the angel's robes like twilight, looking more like one of Lucifer's angels than God's. I plunge into the smoke and throw my body into his. My shoulder hits his ribs. We both fall into the weeds. The gun keeps clattering until it drops, shooting bullets into the sky. The angel roars and rolls on top of me, blood streaming from his temple where he hit a rock, grabbing me like he's going to rip me apart. Then he doesn't have a head anymore. His spine snaps cleanly as his skull comes off in the Grace's mouth. The body collapses onto my chest. Grace toys with the severed head, turning it over and testing each angle with their tongue before finally biting down. Bone gives instantly under their teeth. I stay in the grass, gasping for air under the weight of the angel, watching the grace and the wounds of their body. The angel did recognize me. Why else would he have turned on the grace? They're God's holy warriors, blessed and perfect, and a soldier only has orders to put them down if they become too dangerous. I make them too dangerous. The angels know I'm at the ALC. The ALC is burning because of me. This is my fault. Oh God, it's my fault. My fingers dig into the angel's rancid robes as the grace whines and the next stump spits blood. It's my fault. I have to stop this. I shove the angel's body off mine and reach for the grace. Part of their jaw was torn off by a bullet, the wound trickling black sludge between their eyes. They have so many limbs, some touching the ground and some not, grasping and reaching with so many hands. I let them touch me. I lean forward so they can grab my hair and pull me close. They smell like rot and Dad's corpse. I whisper, "Help us." The answer I get is soft and perfect. Their eyes flutter closed. A hum shakes deep in their broken, open chest. It's all I need to hear. They press their shoulder against me to steady me, nudging their face against my stomach. I leave a red handprint on their neck. We enter the burning building together. Fire lights the narrow halls, an otherworldly pink and orange, smoke muffling it all under an ugly grey. Roiling flames lick across the ceiling and devour pride flags and old posters. I raise my hand against the haze, but there's so little oxygen, my lungs scream. It's so hot. The soles of my shoes are going to melt to the floor. There's so much noise, it's all a roar, so loud it hurts. All the fire and my own heartbeat and ragged breathing. There's more gunshots, more angels than I pray. Oh God, your shade is what protects me. Our struggle against flesh and blood, against wickedness in heavenly places. The Grace charges ahead, barreling through furniture and barricaded fire doors. We weave through back halls and erupt into the lobby, where flames have engulfed everything, even the bodies on the floor. The angels broke through a defensive line here. Spent bullet casings shimmer. 2 angels burn in the doorway, between the bodies of people I know. Don, who helped me do my laundry a few days ago. Lindsay, who laughed when my jacket sleeves fell over my hands. They're dead. For the first time in a while, I have to stop at the sight of a dead body because God, oh God, oh God, your shade is what protects us. Something moves over my shoulder. I turn to find Carly staring at me, at the Grace, tears streaming down her cheeks. She's supporting someone whose left arm is charred beyond recognition. I point to the back door. That way. Carly nods and takes a step back, and the smoke swallows her. A scream from the gym. Shit, the gym. I fling open the doors. It's an inferno. Apartments crackle and collapse, and there goes everything. Our beds, our belongings, the trinkets and pages of books held up like wards against evil. All gone. Through the smoke I see them. 2 angels sweeping the aisles, checking apartments one by one and setting them alight. Glimmering like demons, ash smearing the hems of their robes. Brother Faring. Brother Hurd. Of course I recognize them. I always do. I jam my shoulder into the Grace's side. They spring forward, clattering across the waxed gym floor, and grab Brother Hurd by the torso to fling him into the fire. His robes catch immediately. Brother Faring lifts his rifle, but crack. He falls. An ashen hand bats aside a sheet door from an apartment just feet away, and Aisha calls out, smeared with soot and cradling her gun like a baby. Benji, she gasps. Benji, you're okay. I grab her arms to steady her as the Grace digs into the second angel to make sure he's really, really dead, pulling out ropes of dripping insides. Aisha is shaking and wheezing. I'm okay, I manage. Where is everybody? I don't know, we got split up. She's clinging to me, barely able to pull herself out of the apartment. My head feels like it's going to explode under the heat and the pressure. I tell myself there's more than one way to the back door, and just because I didn't see anybody on the way doesn't mean all my friends are burning alive. Some people are still upstairs, I think. We need to go. She looks over my shoulder and freezes. What the fuck? She whispers. What the fuck? What the fuck? I look too. The Grace is staring at us, head tilted and wreathed in smoke. Part of their skin bubbles where they're too close to the fire. Look away, I whisper, and when they do, I shove Aisha toward the door. She tries to drag me with her, but I peel her fingers off my sleeve and she sobs, turns, and runs. It's too hot in here. The high ceilings aren't doing anything for the smoke anymore, and my chest feels too tight, like my ribs are squeezing in. I'm slick with sweat, but my eyes are so dry they hurt when I blink. The Grace wanders up, rumbling, and nudges me. I need to get out of here. Get away from the fire and into the fresh air where the smoke won't suffocate me. But I'm the reason the ALC is burning. I can't just leave. I promised I would be good. The Grace comes back to my side and together we run. Out of the gym, through the lobby, down another hall. The Grace rounds a corner ahead of me and I follow to find them bashing an angel against a wall, over and over until there's nothing left of him but sludge. We reach the media room. It's white with fire. So bright I have to squint. Breathing feels like swallowing rot. I shield my eyes, tears of strain gathering in my eyelashes. It's hard to see, but I make out the only shapes that matter. An angel behind Nick's shitty armchair and Cormac behind the couch. He's stuck. No weapon and no way to the door. And people never hold positions alone. I don't care that he tried to turn me against Nick. I whisper to the Grace, go. They screech through the doorway, descending on the angel like something from heaven, dragging the soldier toward their gaping maw. The angel screams and is cut off with a crunch. I stumble through the flames and grab Cormac by the jacket. Come on! What the fuck is wrong with you? Cormac shrieks. The whites of his eyes burn. Soot smears his face. That thing! I whisper. Find someone to help. And the Grace tosses their head and disappears into the blazing halls. Cormac stares at me and I hiss, get your ass up, and he's with me. Why didn't it kill us? He rasps. I don't know. I lie and pull him toward the door. There's something awful building in my stomach. I'm pounding in my head like Seraph is clawing through, but I get Cormac into the hall. The flames are as tall as a person, and it's impossible to breathe without hacking. Cormac wrenches himself out of his jacket and presses it against my mouth. I shove it back at him. He needs it more than I do, but he takes one half to block the smoke and shoves the other against me again. And I let him. We stumble through the back door. Dozens of people are out here. It's chaos. Salvador smashes a window on the other side of the courtyard and boots someone through it, into the safety of a strange building. Sadaf shouts to Sarmat to hold someone down while she cuts away clothing from a festering burn. People are alive. This is my fault, but people are alive. God, they're alive. I get 2 steps into the courtyard before Grace dies. I feel it in the flood, in my skull. My knees give out from under me. Cormac stumbles, trying to catch me under the arms, but he's too late. Vomit wells up in my throat. I can't take down my mask to throw up. It'll show my face. I can't. Benji? Cormac whispers. I snatch his jacket. Shit, Cormac says. Nick! Nick! I hold the jacket like a shield and barely pull down my mask before I vomit. My jaw opens so far it hurts, and the tear across my cheeks strains. Something big comes up and I have to get it out with my tongue, and it falls to the grass, wet and heavy and way too big. Nick, where are you? 2 sets of hands bring me to my feet, around my waist and under my arms. I cling to the jacket, vision blurring. Acid burns the back of my tongue. You're fine, Cormac says while I work my mask back up. You're okay. I slam the jacket against Cormac's chest to get it out of my face, and the first thing I see is Nick. To my left, our sides pressed together, holding me tight. Then he lets go. He's in front of me, climbing through the window, holding out his hands for me. Salvador boosts me through and says, Glad you made it, kid. Sit, Nick says, a hand hovering over the back of my neck. Like he knows I thought for a second of running back in. Now. I collapse against the wall and slide down. This building, a bank I think, is full of wide-eyed, fire-red kids, checking on their friends or lying on the floors, eyes closed. Some cry and some are too shocked for tears. Some have marks from bullets, blood soaking their clothes and hands. Lila, a girl with a cane, has found a first aid kit in the back room and is going around with what little supply she has, picking up the work Sadaf can't manage. Nick says, Are you okay? For the first time, I look down at myself. My skin is red from the heat and shimmers with sweat. Ash cakes my clothes. Blisters are starting to form on the backs of my hands. Parts of the soles of my shoes really have melted, and it looks like the hems of my jeans were singed. I toe off one of my sneakers to find the bottoms have stuck to my socks through the hole in the padding. Nothing too bad, considering. I didn't even notice, but I can't tell if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I decide on, I'm fine. Nick's hair has come out of the bobby pins. Strands fall across his sweat-slicked forehead. He's just as much of a mess as me, singed and overheated and exhausted. He's not moving. God, does he even want to see me right now? Do I want to see him? You sure? He asks. Can I get some water? Nick disappears and comes back with a bottle. I shove it under my mask and drink as much as I can, head tilted to keep it from falling between my teeth. He waits until I finish, standing at my side to block the torn side of my face from view. Stay here, he says when I'm done and shoves a piece of paper into my hands. Wait! But Nick is already gone, climbing back out through the window. Cormac, he says. Get in the bank. I'm fine, comes Cormac's voice from the courtyard. Benji got me just in time. You've been inhaling smoke for too long. Absolutely not. I'm fine. Alex sweeps up beside me and leans out the window. They look awful. Bloody hands, a scrape on their chin, mask stained grey. What happened to the radio? I don't remember if I saw it in the lobby. There are so many things to worry about that I just added to the list. Get in here, Alex snarls through the window, or I'm going to make you regret it. All right, Cormac snaps. All right. Salvador gets him through the window, and he collapses next to me, head held between his knees. We both do nothing else for a little bit. Eventually, Alex takes up the spots beside him, the three of us up in a line next to artificial plants, a writing desk, and chairs. The abomination just killed those angels, Cormac says. Did you see that? Yeah, I sure did. What the hell? It helped you. He groans, I know. I hold out the bottle. Water? He yanks down his mask and tips half the water into his mouth. He pours some into his hand and splashes it onto his face. Then he passes it to Alex, who takes a gulp before dumping the rest over their head. I unfold the note in my hand. I'm sorry. The same I'm sorry Nick wrote in his room. The same I'm sorry I left on the floor with my knife. The same I'm sorry he couldn't say but needed me to know anyway. I press that I'm sorry hard against my upper lip and pretend the smoke tears at my cheeks. Smoke tears on my cheeks are actual human tears. The kind I haven't been able to cry in years. I'm sorry too. Chapter 20. There's some kind of awful enduring myth that after the end of the world, people will turn on one another. That people will become hateful and selfish. That's just not true. It's never been true. Wasteland Lie, a 2031 essay by Tony Key. We work long into the night, breaking into buildings for fire extinguishers, doing head counts, soothing burns, and pulling broken glass out of wounds. I help Lila, Sadaf, and Sarmat, sterilizing needles with a lighter for stitches. The cool night air is the one thing keeping me from vomiting again. My blisters ache, but I have better things to do than nurse them. Are you all right? Sadaf asks me, her pale pink dress splayed out in the ashes while Sarmat helps her latest patient stand. Lila measures out a length of bandage. In the moonlight, with her rescued medical kit and bloody hands, Sadaf looks more like an angel than any angel ever has. I'm fine, I say, which I've been lying about all night. Do you want a looking over? No. A wave of sick clenches my throat, and I press my tongue to the roof of my mouth to keep from heaving. I choke out. I'm good. If you say so. Also, tell Aisha to take a break, please. If you see her, I'm worried. She nervously picks crusted bodily fluids out from under her nails. You need some rest too. My professional medical opinion is for you to get some shut-eye. She's right. I can at least try to sleep this off. The inside of the bank sprawls with rough carpet, dusty mahogany desks, and gold accents. Micah sleeps behind a fake plant. A girl named Zara cuddles a blanket as she waits for her girlfriend. I hop the front desk, taking a moment to steady myself once I'm on the other side, and open the door to the hall of offices. Erin is there, in a little nook under the window. Finding her alone in the dark just isn't right. She's hunched, hidden in the folds of a charged shawl, braids falling around her face. In middle school, I'd carry hair ties for girls who needed them, and even now I reach for them around my wrist. Hey, I whisper, quietly so as not to scare her. Her head jerks up. Fuck, she says. I'm not sure what's more shocking, the broken look in her eyes or the fact she just said fuck. Sorry. Hey, Benji. A tear slips out from the corner of her eye. I sit on the floor beside her, our knees touching. Sorry, she says again. I should be out there helping, but here I am. I'm just glad you're in one piece, I say, tapping my fingers against my thigh to keep the sick down. I hate that one piece is all we can hope for these days. You need anything? Sound like such a child, she says. A hug? Nick isn't great with them. No offense, but I brace myself, and Erin just falls against my chest. She's so small. She has such a big personality and a few inches on me, but God, she's so soft and frail. She's shaking with fear, adrenaline and exhaustion like we all are. Thank you, she whispers. No, I should be the one saying that. I should be thanking her, Nick, and the ALC. For this, and the bobby pins, and the hands holding me upright, and the people I saved and who saved me. Those are the things I would burn down the angels for. It's the least I could do, considering what I brought down on them. I wonder where Nick is right now. What I could say to him now. If I could find the words to apologize to him after all this. Erin pulls back just enough that our temples knock together. Her hands rest on my arms, where I roll my rolled-up sleeves against the heat, showing the ashes and angry red marks that weren't there earlier. Marks that the fire could have put there, but I know they didn't. Does it hurt? She asks. I shake my head. She doesn't need to worry about me. I shut myself in a copy room at the back of the hall. There's still smoke on the air, seeping in through cracks, windows, and doors. I lie on the floor and stare at the ugly tile ceiling. In the silence, there's nothing to focus on but my burned skin and nausea. Before I fall asleep, I think I see feathers on the edge of my vision. I think I see something strange. Eventually, the door opens. I don't know when. The sound drags me out from sleep, and I look, just a little bit, thinking maybe it's Erin coming in to check on me or more feathers lurking in the shadows. Nick stands in the doorway. He peers in for a moment, awkward and stiff, and leaves. Those red marks climb up my arms, skin dying in rivers along what used to be veins. They make the heat blisters stand out on my hands, looking like something trying to erupt. Sarah pushing out. The flood pushing out. Hungry. Later, the door opens, the door closes. My eyes open just a crack. Nick stands in the room, unsure, doing that tapping motion again. Over and over, until it's not enough, and he violently shakes out his hands. He tips forward a little bit, back a little bit, forward, back, and soon his expression doesn't look as pained. Still hurting, but not unbearable. Another shake of his hands. A breath with eyes squeezed shut. I say nothing, not just because I'm pretending to be asleep, but because I know this is something private. He's gone to such lengths to hide the side of himself, the side that flaps his hands and rocks until he's together again, that admitting I'm a witness to it feels wrong. But I do make sure he's in one piece. That's all we can ask for. He is, eventually. His breathing evens. He pushes his hair out of his eyes and primly fixes his bobby pins. He stands with his feet firmly on the floor. He crouches beside me. I fight to keep myself still, as still as possible. His breath gently huffs behind his mask. His shoes scrapes on the carpet as he keeps his balance. He smells like smoke and sweat. Nick's fingers hover, for a moment, over my arm, over my cheek, over my hair. Shit, he whispers. Shit. He gets up and goes to the door but stops, reaching for the doorknob but unable to grab it, and he turns away like he can't consider the idea any longer. He takes off his jacket and his shirt. The pale expanse of his chest is cut through with awful scars. He's not as muscular as I thought he would be, but there's power in the way his arms move. He turns his shirt over, inspects it. There's a scar on his shoulder and a few on his collarbone. One on his soft stomach, shiny and white. He pats his pockets, then digs in them. What are we? Am I still mad at him? He apologized, and I guess I accept it. I need to apologize to him too. I want to get past this. I don't want to worry about this anymore. I want to sit down, talk about it, and move on. I'm sick of worrying about where I stand with the boys in my life. I have the apology in my pocket, and right now, Nick is with me. Nick, seeming to accept that whatever he's looking for isn't in his pocket, turns to shake it out of his jacket. With the faint moonlight coming in through the narrow window, I can make out the massive scars on his back. There are so many, it makes my stomach turn. They're dark, all the way from his shoulders to his waist. A pattern. A pattern I know. Those aren't scars at all. They're tattooed wings. What the fuck? That doesn't make sense. That can't be right. No, I'm seeing it wrong. That has to be it. The shadows are playing tricks on me. I'm seeing feathers where there aren't supposed to be. I saw them before I fell asleep. It's Seraph messing with me. That must be it. But he shifts in the light and they're still there. They're carved into his back, scoring all the way down like acid poured across his skin, like a monster tore him apart with its claws. Nick was a death squad soldier. Nick was an angel. A knife falls out of his jacket and hits the carpeted floor with a muffled thump. His shoulders go with it, sagging like he's suddenly carrying an unbearable weight. He sinks to the floor, absolutely unreadable behind his mask, and he starts to cut his shirt into strips. His arm strains when he yanks at the fabric. I stare at the muscles there, at the edges of feathers creeping onto his sides. There are so many little scars and lines down his sides, right where they would be if he tried to claw them off with his fingernails. Breathe. He told me to keep Judgment Day out of my mouth before I'd even said it. He'd had to figure out his own rules too. Breathe. He didn't cry when Trevor died. He didn't cry at the funeral. Breathe. He moves and leads like a trained soldier, and he tried to tear the tattoos out of his skin with his bare hands. Oh, God. And I told him he was just as bad as Mum. Nick rips the last strip off his shirt and works my arm out from under my head. I let myself go limp and close my eyes all the way so I don't have to pretend. He ran from the angels. He made it. He got away from the angels, found a home, and survived. He wraps the bandages tight around one arm, then the other, to cover the rotting pieces, blisters, and burns, and he slips in bobby pins to keep it all in place. Nick did it. He did exactly what I've always dreamed of, the thing Dad died trying to do for me. I keep my eyes shut as he moves to the other side of the room. I tell myself I'll look when he leaves, but he never does. When it's been quiet for long enough, I peek and find him asleep against the door. I lie awake, measuring the air in my lungs. The bandages are warm against my already hot skin. They smell like him, like smoke. He knows what I've been through. He understands. I press my face into my arm, right where the bandages wind into the crook of my elbow. He called me a monster, and I called him one back. He suffered as an angel, and I led them to his home to burn everything to the ground. Lord, we can't keep going like this. Chapter 21. Suffering is the price of flesh. Be grateful for the gift of it. Sister Mackenzie's Sunday school lesson. The Watch and a few others, Sadaf, Alex, Erin, stand in the courtyard too early in the morning. None of us could sleep. Birds chirp, the sun barely breaks the horizon, and everything still reeks of smoke. Nick stands by the broken fence, having found a replacement shirt that shows off the hard lines of his forearms. I keep thinking about his wings, long and beautiful and torn to shreds on his sides. As soon as I open my mouth, everything will come spilling out, so I chew on my bottom lip and pick at the makeshift bandages. At least I don't feel the urge to puke every time I turn my head. Did Nick think I'd wake up and not notice the bandages? It's kind of endearing. You know, Salvador says, rubbing their scars. I was going to ask Chris how he made that cool ace patch. I wanted one. Aisha says, God, that's not important. I know. It's just sinking in. Chris died? Alex says. Erin squeezes her eyes shut like she can will it not to be true if she just tries hard enough. I thought I saw him. Cormac says, you didn't. Alex sighs. They spent most of the night trying to find a good place for the ham radio, like putting down a baby for a nap. At least it's still in good condition. Not great, but it turns on, and that's what matters. They're probably the most put together of us all right now, although that might be because adding one more thing to mourn doesn't change much. Do you think we can fix the fence? Sedef asks, holding Aisha's arm. I can't tell which is supporting the other. I don't think the fence really matters, does it? Faith says. What if they come back? Cormac's eyes flicker to me. We'll discuss that later, Nick says. Right now, we need to focus on what's in front of us. He shakes his hands, almost like he's brushing dust off his jacket. I recognize the motion, and I'm sure everyone else does too. But he starts giving orders like always. Sadaf and Alex still have work to do in the bank. Erin heads back in to grab extra people for sniper duty, since we might have become a target in the night with all the fire and smoke. Salvador is put in charge of recovering what's left of the kitchen. Faith, the storage rooms. Aisha and Cormac each get a gun, directions to scope out the surrounding blocks, and a map from Micah detailing any traps, just in case they can bring back extra food for the night. We're going to get hungry, and quick. I get to deal with the bodies, with Nick. Downstairs it's a charred mess. Dust from the fire extinguishers coats the floor, and we leave footprints in it as we walk. Some of it has settled on the bodies, like a gentle flurry of snow resting in hair and in the creases of agonized faces staring up at the ceiling. A pair of open eyes even has dust on top, like cataracts. It makes my face itch. We count 15 dead. 6 angels, 8 of ours, and the Grace. I know everybody whose bodies are recognizable, and about half aren't. My first thought, you won't have ears for some of the angel kills, They either melted in the flames or were eaten by the grace. The second, what the fuck is wrong with me? I stand by the twisted, burned mess of bodies lying in the lobby, right in the midst of the broken front door, and I press my lips to my knuckles. I pray until Nick comes over, brushes my shoulder, and nods for me to follow. Revelation 21:4. And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. You will return to the earth, for out of it you were taken. For from dust you were made, and to dust you will return. We find the Grace in the gym. It's curled atop a melted body. The Grace's back bent form desperately huddled around them. I trace the timeline in their corpses. The Grace's head is crumpled on the side, the same way Dad's was. Between the media room and the gym, we found an angel whom I don't remember. The pieces click together. The Grace was trying to protect them, I tell Nick. I lead him through my train of thought. I don't know what happened to the person. Maybe they were shot. Maybe they died of smoke inhalation. Maybe they were immolated. Lord knows. God knows. Oh Lord, our God. But the Grace was gravely wounded before killing the angel in the hall and coming back to the gym. Maybe the person was dead when they arrived. Maybe they weren't. But the Grace curled around them, or what was left of them, and died. At least that's what I think, I say. I don't know. No, Nick says, crouching beside me. That sounds right. You will return to the earth, for out of it you were taken. For from dust you were made, and to dust you will return. Are you okay? He asks. Okay enough. I have to say it. I have to get it out of my head. I twist my hands together and steady my voice. Which squad were you in? Nick coughs. What? Which squad? I whisper. Nick, which death squad were you in? His Adam's apple bobs in his throat. It doesn't matter which one, he rasps. Does it? After a second, I say, no. I guess not. How did you know? I saw your tattoos. What I can see of his face is even paler than usual. He's staring at the mangled bodies, jaw working under his mask. Last night, when you were in the room with me. You were pretending to be asleep, he accuses. You thought I wouldn't wake up while you were putting bandages on me? I hold up my arm. He won't look. You thought I wouldn't be a little on edge after everything? Deep breath. No anger, no Seraph, not now. I can't believe it's only been a day since Cormac told me. Nick was calling me an it. And what right do I have to be angry after everything I've done? I say softer. After yesterday? Whatever he's trying to say gets caught in his throat. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have. I didn't mean to. He scrapes at his cheek. His hands are shaking a little. I want to grab them to hold them still, but I shouldn't. Instead, I reach into my pocket and pull out the I'm sorry. I hold it out to him, keeping it open with my fingers so he can see exactly what's written there. I've never been good at saying it either. I don't like hearing it and I don't like saying it. But this little token already means so much. He takes the paper. I shouldn't have lost it with you, I say. I shouldn't have brought the angels here. I should never have come here. This is my fault. I deserve it, Nick mumbles. I really shouldn't have compared you to my mother. That was a dick move. He was raised an angel. He read the announcement to the faithful. He knows exactly who my mother is. So, yeah. We look at the bodies instead of each other. The angels have hurt so many people. So many, it's almost unfathomable. It's a number so big you can't even start to wrap your head around it. A number in the billions, whittling humanity down to a bottleneck, down to scraps and stragglers. They find any way to hurt you they can. It's their duty. You could have told me, I say. How you were feeling, I mean. I would have understood. I feel the same way sometimes. I didn't want to think about it, Nick says. I was scared. Why? He takes the bead lizard from his pocket and pulls down his mask so he can chew on the beads of its tail. Why what? Why you were scared? Why you were calling me it? Why anything? I was scared of you and what you meant. I thought it'd be easier if you weren't you. If I weren't me. I want to pretend you weren't a person, he says. He sounds like such a little kid, barely the teenager he's supposed to be, let alone the adult he's convinced us all he is. I wouldn't think about how much of the same person we are. The same person. Just like Aaron said. Are we really that similar? The only thing we have in common is being gay boys who run away from home. Who ran away from the angels. Who suffered under them and survived. You didn't want to think about us being the same because I'm a monster, I say. No. It's fine, you can say it. Nick makes a hiccuping sound. I can't place it and I don't want to. I've seen the monster, I say. I keep seeing it. Is it scary? God, yes. I'll peel back part of the bandage. My arms are so much worse than they were. They look like the skin would slough off if I started peeling, like a sunburn that goes all the way down to the fat and tendons. The blisters on the back of my hands are pitiful in comparison. I don't have long. Maybe a week or two. I was wrong, Nick says. I won't call you that again. And I was wrong too. More than you know, but I just can't bring myself to say it. My brain silence then. I was stationed at New Nazareth, he says. My brain short circuits. I knew everyone at New Nazareth. This doesn't add up. You were? We never crossed paths. My parents weren't all that important, just some Baptist pastor and his wife. He's right. That could be describing a lot of people. I was a year ahead of you in Sunday school. Plus, with the way Nick spends most of his time alone and his being in the death squads. Okay, maybe it does make sense we never met. I never really focused on cute boys when I had Theo to occupy myself with. Did you ever have Sister Mackenzie? I ask. She was the worst. She was awful. Do you remember when she brought in that crucifix? The one with the naked Jesus that had his dick out and everything? Nick makes a spluttering noise, which I realise is his laughter, and I laugh too. Can't believe she did that. Just the entire dick was out. I swear it's the only reason I didn't want one now. I make a flaccid motion with my finger. Looked like a sad worm. He splutters again. My cheeks hurt from smiling. A small moment of calm in this burned-out building, surrounded by bodies, both of us aching, nervous, and so tired. I should apologise for burning this place down, but I don't. I want to keep this moment safe. I wish I could stay here forever, surrounded by ash and death and his laughter. Cormac counts the ears we manage to retrieve as if there will be more the next time he does. 3. 3 isn't nearly enough for what the angels did to us. What they took from us. Our food, our water, our home, our safety. Alex brings up the idea of taking the ears of our dead friends. The Vanguard won't be able to tell the difference. We consider it. There's nothing in the traps, our food stores are mostly ash, and we can't risk disappointing the Vanguard. Not after what I did. A lot of things are my fault these days. Nick says, I'll leave it up to you, Cormac. Jesus. Cormac pulls his hair. Don't make me choose. Then we'll vote. No looking. We vote with our eyes shut. I vote for it. Nick whispers the results to Cormac, who swallows hard. All right, he says. All right. Afterward, as I slog through the mess, peeling apart sticky angel corpses to find anything that could help us, I heave so hard a trail of spit comes up. I take down my mask to wipe it away, but when the cloth touches my throat, it happens again. And I end up with my head against the wall, gagging, waiting for the wave to pass. It doesn't. I take a page out of Nick's book and find a pen and a piece of scrap paper in the bank to write to pass to him. I feel sick. I'm going to go lie down. He walks me to the copy room and gives me a salvage blanket, and I stay there until he comes to find me again. Aaron wants to talk to everybody, he says. Should I tell her not to wait up? I push myself upright, a sick taste lingering in my mouth. No, I clamp my jaw shut to keep stomach acid from creeping up. I'll be fine. Give me a second. You can rest. I'm coming, I insist, and stagger to my feet. In the lobby of the bank, Erin is sitting on the help desk, looking slightly better, but not much. Everyone gathers around her like a gaggle of baby ducks, staring at her or anywhere but her, depending on how they deal with this kind of thing. Some nervously leaf through old deposit slips, click pens, or scratch the carpet. I sit by the desk, staring at the window to the courtyard. Nick takes his spot next to Erin, arms crossed. Her gentle, wavering words break the silence. We don't need to talk about what happened, she says. We all know what happened, and we all know what we lost. Moving forward, are we staying here? The Acheson LGBTQ Center is not safe to inhabit, at least for now. A few pained cries rose up from the crowd. So much of their lives went up in flames. The books in the office, the photos on the wall, the flyers, apartments, and friends whose bodies were eaten away by the inferno. It's what the angels have always done to humanity. What society always tried to do to us. Always taking, always sinking in its teeth. My fingers dig into my arm and pieces of skin start to come off. I stop myself by biting the inside of my remaining cheek until I draw blood. Erin says, "We'll do what we can with what we have. That's what we've always done." Calvin raises his hand. If I have to listen to him, I might actually be sick. Aisha, where she's sitting with Sadok, turns away. "We need to get the hell out of here," Calvin says. "If the angels know where we are, we're fucked. They're going to come back and finish us off, and personally, I don't want to be stuck waiting for them when they do." Another person, Lux, wrinkles Air's nose and spits. "I can't walk, dude." He picks up her thigh almost as if to shake the bloody bandages in his face. "You gonna carry me across this damn city? Find me a wheelchair, maybe?" "That's your problem," Calvin replies. Faith snaps, "Hey, I'm right and you know it." Salvador leans over to Nick's ear, whispers something. He nods, and Salvador disappears into the back room. "Calvin, please," Erin begs. "We can work through this together." "I don't want to work with a bunch of pussies who think the idea of just sitting here is..." Salvador comes out of the back room with a backpack and slings it across the floor so it hits Calvin in his side. "If you don't want to just sit here," Salvador growls, "you're free to leave." Calvin goes whiter than he already is. "I mean it. Get off your ass and do your own thing if you think we're pussies. If you hate us so much, then go." Calvin stammers for a moment and snatches the bag and stands. "Fine. Fine," Salvador repeats, and Calvin looks over his shoulder once before slamming out the front door of the bank. Half the mouths in the room hang open. I can't see it past their masks, but I can feel it. The collective stunned silence. Aisha, the first person to make a single sound, starts to laugh. Tears stream down her face as she presses her hands to her head and wheezes until she can't get any air, and Sadaf has to talk her down. Faith crouches beside her. "He'll come crawling back," Cormac mutters. "I give it a day." "Not even," Salvador says. Erin says, "Nick, please talk to them. I can't do this." Nick bangs his foot against the desk to get everyone's attention. "If anyone else wants to follow him, now's your chance." Aisha breathes into her hands. I fold my arms over my knees and lean my forehead against the bandages. "That's what I thought," Nick says. "We are safer staying here than we are wandering out to find a new place. The local angel encampment doesn't have any soldiers, according to their documents. They're a research facility, not a military base. After a defeat like this, they'll be keeping their distance for a while." No wonder Nick knows all this. How much did he have to fake to avoid suspicion? "So what are we going to do?" Micah asks. That's when Alex from the other side of the bank says, "Everyone shut up." They tear out the cord of their headphones from the radio, and the air suddenly fills with the sound of static and an eerie list of deadpan numbers. 5, 1, 8, 5, 6. Over and over. It's the Vanguard. Erin slides down from the desk and sprints over. Nick follows close on her heels. Everyone else glances at one another and slowly stands to follow. I prop myself up on the desk. "You okay?" Salvador asks, stopping beside me. I wave them ahead with the rest. Alex picks up the radio and a piece of paper with what looks to be a script. It's Nick's handwriting. Looks like there's some kind of radio communication etiquette. "Victor Romeo Delta. Victor Romeo Delta. This is Alpha Lima Charlie. Come in, over." Alex pulls away from the mic. "I still say that sounds stupid. It's just us. Why do we need these call signs? Is it Lima, as in lima beans?" "Shh," Nick says. A rough voice from the other side of the line. "Alpha Lima Charlie, this is Victor Romeo Delta. VRD. Vanguard. We read you. I'm in awe of this thing Alex has built. It looks like it's running off a modified car battery turned into a beast of wires. This is Alex's domain. We all know better than to mess with it. You previously contacted us about a meeting. Is this request still in effect? Over." Alex hands the mic over to Nick, who straightens up like the Vanguard can see him somehow. "Affirmative. As soon as possible. Over." "We hear you." A disembodied voice rattles the lobby. I press closer, leaning against the teledesk, digging my nails into the wood. "Loud and clear. However, due to recent developments, we will not be returning to the Commons until a month passes, or you can provide us with proof of 20 kills. Over. 20. The word hits like a cinder block. The way a bullet hits the chest. The way Calvin's words jammed into our skulls. 20. Did he just say? Faith whimpers. Motherfucker, Cormac growls. Motherfucker. He looks at me, and for a moment I think he's going to take the steps between us and slam me into the desk until my skull splits open. But his head drops into his hands, and he sits on the floor and says nothing. Erin stares at the radio as if that will change what she just heard. Nick grabs the mic. Repeat, was that 20? Over. Affirmative. Do you have 20? Over. Nick looks at me too. Erin says, Jesus Christ, Nick, no, we can't. Please, no. I whisper, what? Nick swallows hard. Nick, what? We're not, Nick says. He grabs the mic again. His other hand taps against his leg like he's trying to puncture it. We do not have 20. Over. Then we will not meet. Contact us only when you do, or when a month has passed. Victor Romeo Delta, over and out. They're not going to help us. That's what it takes for the bank to shatter. It's too much. Everything we had burned to the ground. We've lost so many people. We don't have enough food or water to last us a week, let alone a month. Someone starts to cry. Erin makes a noise like a wounded animal. Faith, Aisha, and Sadaf are as silent as corpses, and my stomach turns, and bile floods hot and sour up my throat. I stumble out of the lobby, through the window into the courtyard, and drop to my knees before vomiting into the grass. This is the worst it's ever been. It's so much. So much is coming up. Clumps of wet flesh, red and black and slimy, leaving trails over my chin and across my hands as I peel them out of my throat. What Seraph has rejected of my insides and replaced with the virus, what it's built from my body, what it's doing on the inside, is all pushing out, and I have to dig my fingers into the dirt to keep from ripping the skin off my arms. It's taking me apart. We don't have time. I don't have time. We're fucked and it's my fault. I led the angels to them. There's no other reason they would come here if not for me. Nick comes up to the window and hops out into the grass, standing as if blocking me from an inscrutable gaze at the road past the broken fence. As if he couldn't spend a single moment longer in that damn building. Just like I couldn't. Just, Jesus Christ, I'm so tired. I can't, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I brought the angels here, I did this. Nick says nothing, and neither do I. He just crouches and pushes my hair out of my eyes. I groan and cough and throw up again. It's almost like divine justice. I steal from the ALC to give to Theo, and God sends angels to ruin it all. I visit Theo and everything goes to hell. The way it always has, the way it always will. I should have learned when he hurt me. I should have learned. I was supposed to be good, and I ruined everything because I was lovesick and selfish. But it was a little perfect, wasn't it? I made it back just as the angels arrived. Why else would the grace still have been outside? If I hadn't left Theo when I had, I don't think I would have seen the grace. We would have lost so many more people. What if I had stayed with him the way he asked? How many people would have died? How many more? Wait. Theo didn't want me to leave that night. He was still praying. How could he have joined the pilgrimage if he was exiled from the death squads? How could he have run away from the angels when he spent so much of his life prepared to die for them? How? He knew. That motherfucker, he knew. The flood burns and Seraph screams, painful and red-hot and furious. He knew. He lied. He did this. Chapter 22. Upon the wicked he will rain fiery coals and burning sulphur. A scorching wind will be their lot. Psalm 11:6. This is what I was made for. Romans 12:19. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine. I will repay, saith the Lord. The angels were made to be the servants of God, but I am the wrath, the flaming sword, the six-winged beast. Vengeance is mine. I will repay, saith the Lord. As soon as the sun sets, I slip from the bank and into the streets, wrapped in bandages and every stitch of black clothing I could dig from the ashes. They reek of charred bodies and too much smoke. I want Theo to smell it on me. My hand twitches as if Seraph is an electric current tightening my muscles, the way mad scientists make dead dogs move. Black sludge trickles down my nose and over my lips, and I throw my mask into the gutter. I wonder for half a second what part of me that used to be, but I can't keep a thought in my head beside what Theo's face will look like when it's smashed to bloody pieces. I should have seen this coming. I should have known. I tear off my bandages and dig my fingers into the flesh, peeling up from my arm. Pieces come off in long, wet strips. The same black vein raw flesh as my face, the dissolved inside of my throat, the slurry of my stomach cavity. Theo is going to see me. He is going to see the real me, and I'm going to kill him. I'll bring the Vanguard all the proof they need. I'll bring them Theo's skull and as many heads as I can fucking get. Leave room for his wrath. I am his wrath made flesh. Seraph at my feet know the path to Reformation faith evangelical church better than I do. A flock of birds sits on the power lines, flapping their wings at one another as they fight for space like crows on the culling grounds. The angels thought they could take the ALC from me, that without the ALC I would have nowhere to run except back to Theo. I'll give them what they want. I will come back to him, and I will make them regret it. My jaw aches and cramps, the muscles moving on their own. My next breath comes out in a snarl, inhuman and so deep in my chest, deeper than I've ever felt anything. I pass the bodega and the cat sits in the window, tail flicking anxiously. Something cracks in my gum line, and I pull out an old tooth. There are new teeth here, uneven in my mouth like shattered glass. I will hunt the angels who did this. The ALC will be safe. Everything hurts. I want to take handfuls of my face and pull it off. I'm halfway to Reformation, I think. I only stopped once. When the pain got too bad. When I couldn't keep my eyes open anymore. I pressed my head against the wall to push back whatever was breaking it apart from the inside and screamed. I thought my skull was going to split, and so much more rotten shit came up, and now there's something else sitting heavy in my mouth. A tongue like something alive anchored in my throat, threatening to fill me up, falling out in a rope of flesh. I have so many teeth. My mouth opens all the way to my ears, it hurts. I look like the billions of dead with the flood tearing them to pieces. I look like the people who didn't survive. I look the way I should, and Seraph isn't even done with me yet. Nick and Aaron will have to tell everybody when I get back, but that's fine. That's fine because after I do this, they'll understand. They'll forgive me. It'll be okay. I can fix this. On the wind, I hear a prayer. I don't feel the stab of panic in my chest like I should, like I used to. Instead, I stop, lifting my head to the breeze, letting it wash over me. Lord, we praise you and thank you for this glorious night. Death squads usually don't work in the dark. They've been on the hunt. They've been chasing their prey for hours. They're high on the kill and lost in their purpose. We cleanse in your blessed name. We fight in your blessed name. We bleed and die in your blessed name. The words slur together. A heaven-drunk chorus of soldier howls, frothing at the mouth under their masks. I press myself into the shadows, white-hot fury and pain rising through my bones until I feel like my body is going to come apart at the seams. Oh God, accept this pound of flesh as our love. A death squad in my path to Reformation, standing around a pair of crumpled, broken bodies. They are beaten and crushed. Their deaths were not quick. It was a game. Ashes to ashes, one of the soldiers says. Dust to dust. Abyss to hell. Abyss to abyss. Rot in hell, says another. Fucking heretics. Fucking rats. Sarah spreads its wings of fire in the hollow expanse of my chest, where my insides used to be. Walking away from them is a mercy they don't deserve. Vengeance is mine. I will repay, saith the Lord. Nicholas. Chapter 23. These feathers are a promise. Do you promise to do the works of God and light his fires? Do you promise to be his hands on this earth, no matter the cost? Keep your promise close. Remember that it can be taken away. The General of New Nazareth. Nick wakes up, and Benji isn't there. He and Benji turned in a few hours ago together. Together. That was the key word. Benji was sick, and Nick was going to keep an eye on him. He wasn't leaving his friend alone. Benji was his friend, and they'd hurt each other, and now they were trying to make it right. Even if he couldn't get words to come out the way they should, even if saying sorry didn't come naturally to either of them, that was something he knew he could do. But now Benji isn't here. Nick reaches over to the balled-up jacket on the other side of the copy room that Benji had been using as a pillow. It's still warm. He hasn't been gone long. Maybe he got sick again? Nick grabs a bottle of water and heads to the courtyard, practicing what he's going to say when he finds him. He can't say, "Are you sick?" because that'll be obvious. Maybe, "Are you okay?" But the answer has been no for so long. What's the point in that? Benji. So instead, he says the name over and over. Not Seraph. Benji. He, him, his. Not it. Benji's real name comes so much easier than any other name ever did. And it is a relief to let go of the wrong pronouns. The actual ones are a blessing because they are the truth. And as much time as Nick spends lying, the truth is beautiful. How could he ever have thought he could turn Benji over to the Vanguard? The moment he looked Benji in the eyes and refused, said they didn't have the ears, said they couldn't afford the Vanguard's help, it was a relief like drinking holy water. He wouldn't have to be a monster. It was proof he still knew the value of a human life, no matter how much the angels tried to beat that out of him. Fuck them. There are some people awake in the lobby when Nick passes through. Salmat is on guard duty, face smushed into his hand, probably waiting for Calvin to come back. Nick will off to let Salvador and Aisha decide if Calvin is allowed to step foot within the group again. It's only fitting. "Have you seen Benji?" Nick asks Salmat. "Benji?" Salmat holds up his hand to his chest. "Brown hair? Yay big?" "Yes." "I think so?" Salmat points in the direction Nick just came from. The window to the courtyard as expected. Didn't look like he was in a good mood, though. "Everything okay?" "It's fine," Nick lies. "Thank you." But the courtyard is empty. He checks the shadows by the grave, ducks inside the ALC, even stops by the Grace corpse. Benji isn't there. That's how Nick finds himself on the sidewalk just beyond the broken fence, rolling his beads between his hands. Maybe Benji's just going to the bathroom. It's no big deal. Benji's not a little kid. Well, he's little, but he's not a kid, not really. He's practically grown in the grand scheme of things. Benji is allowed to do what he wants. God, he deserved it when Benji yelled at him. What kind of person is he anyway, keeping a sick boy tucked away as a possible sacrifice, a living backup plan? Pretending Benji isn't a person when so many people have done the same to him. Erin was right, like she always is. Hadn't he spent years begging to be seen as anything but a horrific collection of fuck-ups? That he wasn't just the mistakes he was made of and his parents' condescending pity and God. I'm a person. I'm a person too. Nick almost laughs. He doesn't laugh much, because it comes out weird. But he does because there's no one around to listen. What the fuck is wrong with him? What the fuck is wrong with him? In the distance, at the far end of the street, right where his vision ends, movement. Nick stops. Every nerve narrows to the single pinprick. A dark form stumbling away. Nick runs back to the bank for exactly the amount of time it takes to grab a pistol, an extra mask, and some bobby pins. He doesn't know much about people, but he knows a hell of a lot about anger. He knows what anger will make people do. God, he knows that much. The monster Nick finds halfway between the ALC and Reformation Faith Evangelical Church does not look much like Benji at all. Consciously, Nick, hiding in the shadow of a pickup truck and digging his nails into the corner of his eye to calm down, just to calm down, knows this thing is Benji. This thing has Benji's hair, Benji's tiny body, Benji's clothes. This thing looks like Sister Kipling took out all of Benji's insides and sawed a wolf under his skin. And it's only now that Nick is seeing it for the first time. It's not him, but it is. And Nick is transfixed. Benji's eyes are locked on the death squad just yards from him. Ghosts with blood on their robes praying to God. Their guns are down. Their eyes are closed in the shining glory of the Lord, the invisible light beaming in their chests in the darkness of the night. Nick knows the type. The job is to flush out survivors like vermin. They're soldiers who can't be trusted with anything else. The ones too bloodthirsty to guard caravans, the gates, or the bridge. The ones New Nazareth can afford to lose. The ones they unleash like rabid dogs to clean up what the flood, mass shootings, executions, and suicide attacks missed on Judgment Day and every day after. No matter how expendable these angels are, Benji can't take 6 full-grown men on his own. He can't. As soon as the thought crosses Nick's mind, Benji lunges from the shadows and sinks his teeth into a soldier's throat. Everything else turns off like a switch. Nick lifts his pistol. At least the angels taught him something. Crack. He drops the angel closest to him, aiming between the shoulders, right above where the spine emerges from the Kevlar vest under the robe. The bullet casing spits from the gun and hits the ground with a distinctive clink. Nick counts his rounds. 1. The man with teeth in his neck gurgles, and Benji rears back with a mouthful of flesh, a spray of red following in an arc through the space between them. This is the easy part. This is what Nick is good at. Crack, clink, 2. The bullet hits a thigh and distracts the soldier just enough for Benji to grab him by the face and smash him into the brick storefront. Nick counts the shells and not the bodies because it's what the general taught him, saying the number should be the same anyway. Nick counts Benji's shells 2, 3, 4. Benji isn't tall enough to reach any important vein in the neck's neck, so he tears open a forearm instead, right where the brachial artery splits. The amount of blood is impressive. 5. A bullet to the side of the head. 6. A hand shoved into a mouth and the jaws snapped like a tree limb cracking from the trunk. The angel screams and chokes, and Benji tears it off the rest of the way. The angel stumbles once, twice, grasping for his face before finally falling. He coughs and writhes, and Benji just watches. Then, after the angel gasps one last time, blessed quiet. The world creeps back in, past the lockdown clamping Nick's senses, the adrenaline easing its grip. The rustle of debris, the flutter of robes, his own breath. It's him and Benji now. Benji isn't what he used to be. He stares at the bodies on the ground like he's trying to figure out where the bullet wounds on the corpses came from through the haze of anger. Thin threads of entrails drip from his mouth. The blood on his face catches the starlight. What is Nick supposed to say? What kind of words work here? Will Benji even understand? Benji rolls his shoulders and his body cracks like the wolf is trying to claw its way out. One of the angel wheezes as his weight forces the air out of his dead lungs. It smells like copper, gunpowder, and shit. Nick starts forward, farther into the road, between the cars, onto the curb. He holds out a hand and whispers, Benji. When Benji turns to face him, it's almost lazily, slowly, showing every single jagged tooth in his open wound mouth, as if he knew Nick was there the whole time and was just waiting for him to get too close. His tongue, the length of a forearm, longer, snakes out of his mouth, testing the air, jaw unhinging and the glint of the moon travelling up the length of his serrated fangs. He looks like he plunged half his face into acid. When a piece of flesh falls, Nick can't tell if it was in his mouth or a part of it. Nick says, "It's me." Benji replies with an ear-shattering shriek. Nick is slammed against the sidewalk and into the wet, heavy bodies of the dead angels, and Benji is on top of him. His gun arm is pinned, and those teeth are inches from his face, Benji's tongue dripping with spit, gore stretching between his fangs, fingers digging into Nick's shoulders hard enough to bruise, to break skin. Nick does nothing. He does not breathe. He does not blink. If he moves a single muscle, Benji is going to tear out his jugular. Those teeth will go in like knives, and he will bleed out onto the sidewalk before he can think to staunch the wound. Unrestricted blood loss from a major vein leads to unconsciousness in seconds and death within minutes. Benji's weight presses him into the ribs of a corpse, into a squelching mess of shredded insides and robes that reek of bleached sweat and gore. The next noise Benji makes is not a shriek. It's a whimper. It crawls up from his throat like a dying thing. Those eyes are still his. Seraph hasn't touched them. They're a little red, strained, but they're his. Nick is about to do something stupid. He whispers, "Your hair is in your face." Benji does not kill him. All he does is blink. Nick lifts his arm and presses it flat against Benji's chest, just enough pressure to push him back. Benji shuffles away, eyes wide, and Nick manages to sit. Benji's fingers leave red marks on the concrete. He's so small. He's so light. Black liquid trickles from his nose, and Nick can't imagine Benji has any insides left to lose. "It's me," Nick says. "I'm here now. It's okay." It's not a lie. He makes a mental list of everything they'll have to do to get Benji into the bank without raising suspicion. Clean the blood off his face. Get him into new clothes and a mask. Soothe the curled up, cramping thing his hands are doing. Cover his arms. Just make sure he gets home. One last push and Benji falls back to the ground. Nick takes the last of the bobby pins from his pocket, selects exactly 2, and clips a stubborn clump of Benji's hair away from his forehead. It's like trying to fix the Hoover down with duct tape, but Benji's shoulders sag, and another sad little noise crawls up his throat and his eyes finally focus. Nick? He whispers. They've lost the Vanguard, but Nick hasn't lost Benji. There is no way in hell Nick could have brought himself to give Benji over. How had he even thought he could? God, what is wrong with him? How could he? There you go, Nick says. Thought we lost you for a second. Even though he wants to cry, thank God, thank God, thank God. And Nick hasn't thanked God for anything in years. Benjamin. Chapter 24. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and other queer and questioning youth often face unique challenges in finding community. Whether you are helping build an accepting family at home or searching for one who will support you when others don't, the Acheson LGBTQ Center is here for you. The Acheson LGBTQ Center official website. Nick takes me back to the bank. I remember that much. He gives me a bottle of water and makes me drink as much as I can. He wipes my face, puts a new mask over my mouth, and gets me to change of clothes. I'm too tired to register the embarrassment of just being in my sports bra and boxers, open wounds creeping across my stomach and thighs. Nick doesn't linger on my body. I'm reminded of Jesus and the leper, and Nick helps by not turning away in disgust. When I'm finally presentable, my crumbling body hidden under bandages and clean clothes, Nick boosts me through the bank window and sits me on the floor of the copy room. I'm so lightheaded, I'm going to pass out. I need to say something, but how do I even start? I made a bunch of really, really bad decisions, and this is all my fault. Please don't be mad. I'm divine retribution, but I'm also a scared little kid, and God, why would you call me your friend? I grind my jaw and try to breathe past my massive tongue. I'm not getting enough air. Or maybe I'm hyperventilating. Nick crouches beside me and said, "What happened?" And it's not a question because it doesn't need to be. I open my mouth to speak, but can't. Nick watches for a moment, then scratches that little spot under his eye. It's okay, he says. I have trouble talking sometimes too. He takes off his jacket and wraps it around my shoulders. I'll be right back. I don't want him to go. I reach for him, but he pushes my hand away. It won't take long, he says, and leaves. His coat smells like him. It smells like all of us, like sweat, musty closets, and smoke, but it smells like him. Like he spent too much time with mothballs and old paper. I bury my face in the sleeve. Nick comes back with a plastic grocery bag that rattles when he moves. I know it's immature of me, he says, sitting across from me and unpacking the bag. It's full of beads. Bright plastic pony beads, all the colors of the rainbow and then some. He sets one large container between us and clicks it open. But when I have a meltdown, I make these. It helps. Out comes a handful of strings. I'm glad it survived the fire. He takes the bead lizard out of his pocket. The one with the gaudy yellow and blue beads and with bite marks on the toes. I can show you, he says. If you want. He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to do anything for me, not after what I brought down on us. We lost the Vanguard, we lost so many people, we're fucked. But Nick just pulls out a length of string and cuts it with his teeth. Pick out some beads. I half-heartedly pick a few random ones. Green, red, whatever. But eventually I find ones that look like the trans flag. Nick shakes his head. Other colors, he says. I narrow my eyes at him. He pulls a half-finished lizard from the bag with the same pastel pinks, blues, and whites. Already working on it, he says. I pick out a rainbow instead. He holds out his work to show me what he's doing. You put on one of these, he says, stringing a red bead, and then double thread it, like this. He hands me the awkward mess of beads and string. You do the next two, and don't forget the eyes. My hands shake, but after a try or two, I get the next row. When I reach the toes, though, I get frustrated trying to make them look right. Nick tells me to stop pulling the string so taut. I can't. There's anger curling up in my hollow chest, but it isn't Seraph's anger. It isn't the white-hot, violent thing that made me tear out those throats and slam Nick into the bodies. It's helpless. I never asked for this. I never wanted to be an angel, and I never wanted to be their martyr. I'm a kid, and all I ever do is ruin things. The ALC would be better off if they'd never brought me in. I yank the string so hard it snaps. The beads tumble to the floor. Nick sucks in a breath. I can't look at him. I focus on the rough carpet speckled with all kinds of colors, dizzy from the heat, exhaustion, and dehydration. desperate to think of anything but him and what I've done. After a moment, Nick takes the broken string out of my hand and gives me another. Do you want me to start it again? He asks. I shake my head and pick up the beads off the floor. It doesn't matter what I asked for. There's nothing we can do about what's already happened. I was raised by angels. The world ended. They got into my head and turned me into this. That may not be my fault, but it is my responsibility. I'll take the blame for what I've done and do everything I can to fix what I didn't. If I can fix this, I have to. If I can find a way to keep my friends safe, I will. That's what it means to be good. This time, when I get to the lizard's toes, I've gotten the hang of it. Nick finishes his trans lizard and ties off the end. Here, he says, holding it out to me. You can have it if you tell me where you were going. You drive a hard bargain. My words are wet and raspy, but still recognizable as words. Just like I have a particularly bad sore throat or lost my voice screaming. Where were you going? I can't say it. I should. I know, but... Out. Why? Does it matter? Nick says it does. I need to tell them. I have to tell them. I can't do this alone. Can we get Aaron? I say. I really, really need to tell you guys something. The only place I can talk is the roof of the ALC, where nobody but the birds will hear when I inevitably lose it. Ash streaks up the sides of the building. The knife shift sniper has been sent down to get some rest. Our footprints track soot in the gravel. The moon is high in the sky. Erin has her hair up in a silk scarf, and I'm still wearing Nick's jacket. The city is beautiful. I stare at it instead of Erin and Nick standing close together watching me. I've been up here with Nick before, but it's so different at night. The empty, still city. Perfectly quiet. Perfectly dead. It'll take decades for this world to start breaking down, centuries for it to fall, and eons for Earth to swallow every bit of it and wipe all trace of us from the world. Are you okay? Erin asks. I don't mean... She gestures helplessly at my face. Because I know that isn't... It can't... I say, I fucked up. Erin laughs a little. What? She looks to Nick, who says nothing, and back to me. If it's about the flood, we can figure something out. If you want to tell everybody, we can do that. They'll accept it, I promise. Nothing bad is going to happen. God, I need to tell everyone. It's not that. I've been lying to you. It all comes crashing out. My voice is high and desperate. The words tumble out like prayers, or maybe begging, or maybe they're the same thing. I do not leave out anything. Finding Theo at Reformation and how happy I was to see my fiancé again. The food and masks I stole for him. How I went back to him. How terrified I was when he asked me to stay. When I realized it was him that brought fire down on the ALC, and it's all my fault. My fault. I did this to them. I stop, eyes burning. Erin holds her stomach like she might be sick. Nick just stares. Nothing else, just staring. I hate it. The silence hurts like a gaping wound filled with every little thing in this city. The quiet murmurs of the bank, the howling of feral dogs, a gunshot far, far in the distance. The smallest things that lets us know we're not the only ones left alive. She should be doing something, anything. Walking away, yelling at me, dragging me to the side of the building to throw me off. They could do anything and I'd understand. Anything except just stand there. A terrible whining noise rises up in my throat, small and pathetic like a kicked animal. I know I should say sorry, I whimper. But that's not going to make this right. There's nothing I can do to make it okay, and I want to do something to fix it anyway. Which is why I wanted to talk to you. Because I trust you, and if anyone can figure out what I can do, it's you. Nothing. Oh God, there's nothing. James 5:16. Confess your faults one to another, and pray for another that ye may be healed. I don't feel healed. I don't feel anything. I just feel hollow. It's Erin who speaks first. Oh my God, she says. Benji. I whisper, I know. I mean, you're right, she says. Sorry isn't going to change anything, but I still want to hear it, you know? Doesn't want to come up. I dig my feet into the gravel of the roof and force it out the way I pulled flesh from my throat. I'm sorry. Thank you. She doesn't say it's okay because it's not. I want to look away, but I have to face what I've done. I don't know what else to say. This is a lot, I finish. Yeah. Nick pulls out his notepad, the same notepad he had in the meeting room, and a pen from his pocket. He starts to write. How sure are you that Theodore knew? He asks, not looking up. I was headed out to confront him about it. I'd bet a lot of things on it, but I wasn't headed out to tear him to pieces. Why? Because I'm sure. Nick crumples up a sheet and throws it on the ground. That son of a bitch. Did you know him? Well enough. Of course he did. There's no way soldiers the same age wouldn't know each other. I have an idea, but I need you to trust me. Do you? Yes. I don't have to think about it for a second. Just tell me what to do. New Nazareth wants you so badly, he says, that they're willing to come all the way out here and risk an entire squad to force you back to them. Then we're going to give them everything they asked for. He jabs his pen against the paper. And we are going to make them regret it. Erin looks over his shoulder at the notepad. Her eyes flash. You brilliant bastard. In the middle of the night, bathed only in the moon and stars, we go through the plan. I'm going to walk into the angel's arms. I'm going to repent, twist them around my finger, and then turn the graces against them like the tide. I will rip salvation from their hands because that is what is meant for them to suffer. The good the world needs right now is teeth and claws and taste for blood. I'm going to shatter them, and I will be the vengeance of God. I will. And the Watch is going to get me out of it alive. They are the only people I could ever trust to do this. Acheson, Pennsylvania will be free. We won't need the Vanguard. There'll be nothing to run from. The city will be ours, and we will survive the summer when we don't have to hide like mice under the floorboards. They'll hold absolution down by the river, I say, pointing at the western edge of Nick's crude map of New Nazareth, right at the edge of their territory. It'll probably be second day because there's no way they're risking not locking me down as quickly as they can. I know how Mum works. I know what she'll do to me. But I have to suffer it for this to work. Is there anything you can do with that? Nick squints. I think so. That's close enough to the road. We'll position there and get you out as soon as possible. I'm going to make this right. I'm going to fix it. The ALC will be safe, and the angels will never hurt us again. All I have to do is walk right into the mouth of hell. Chapter 25. Do not be afraid. Have faith. What is right will be done. The Truth, by High Reverend Father Ian Clevenger. You wasted backpack space for a bottle of... Faith squints. What is that? It's Brunello, Cormac says, as if offended that Faith can't recognize it on sight. Classic vintage, 2019. Absolutely not. This cost $400. Salvador puts up a hand from where he's sprawled on the carpet. I think we're in a situation where eating the rich is not only allowed, but acceptable, encouraged, and part of a well-rounded diet. Essential vitamins and minerals, you know. You hardly count it as rich, Cormac says. You have a $400 bottle of grape juice. I'm literally going to kill you. Cormac wrinkles his nose. I hate you all. Do you want any or not? A lot of us, the Watch minus Nick, sit in a back corner of the bank in the late afternoon. Sunlight comes in through the high dusty windows, dappling the carpet in gold and making everything just a little too warm. Our exhaustion seeps into the walls, deadens our eyes as we try to laugh and pretend we aren't terrified of angels, starvation, and the summer. Of everything now. I want to tell them that there's a plan, that they're going to be okay, that we all are. I want to wipe the pained looks off their faces, the ones creeping behind their masks even as they act like they're smiling. The looks of people who are realizing that in a month, we will probably be dead, and there's not much they can do. But I need a little more time with them before everything changes. I thought you were saving it for a special occasion, Aisha says. Cormac stares at the bottle, its beautiful black glass wrapped in gold lettering. I was, but it almost burned with the rest of my stuff, and wine is shit after it gets too hot. He pulls out his knife and pops a cork with it. And you know, we're fucked. Might as well get drunk. You guys better thank me. He drinks straight from the bottle before grudgingly handing it to Faith, who takes a large swallow of the hooting of Aisha and Salvador. Cormac grumbles that you're supposed to savor the taste of something like this, even if it isn't as good as it should be. Aisha makes a show of taking a dainty sip with her pinky finger up, and Salvador somehow manages to drink without picking their head off the floor. As he taps the bottle against my leg. Hey, short stuff, want some? I shake my head. It'd mean taking my mask down, and besides, I've never actually had alcohol before. This doesn't seem like a great time to start. I'm good. Cormac wrinkles his nose. You sound awful. Seriously, Aisha says. Everything okay? I try to force a smile, but as soon as it reaches my eyes, I find I'm not faking it at all. They're my friends. I don't have to fake it for them. I'm fine, I say, Just trying not to think about, everything. Don't I know it, Aisha says. She takes my hand and turns it over. Thankfully, the blisters from the fire overshadow the growing discoloration on my fingers, and my arms are very hidden. If you want something to take your mind off it, I've been wanting to do someone's nails for a while. It won't be too feminine if you don't want it to be. I just need a test subject. I want my nails done, Salvador whines. The offer's only open for Benji. He didn't steal my favorite skirt last summer. I lean my head against Aisha's shoulder and shoot Salvador a petty look. Z pouts. And he doesn't like coffee, so he needs something good in his life. Yeah, like a guy who's going to want his nails done, Cormac says, saving me from having to turn down Aisha. I want to have fingernails soon. I don't have to give stick and poke tattoos, that's way cooler. Salvador gets an empty water bottle from his bag and pours some of the wine into it. Cormac scoffs. Here, Z says, pushing the water bottle into my hand. For later. If you'll actually drink it, you picky fuck. I take it carefully. When it sloshes, it leaves purple marks against the thin plastic. Friends. Thanks, I manage. No problem. And get some sleep or something. I think I have some cough drops, Faith says, if they're not expired. I would cry if I could, so my body kicks up the closest thing it can get, but my eyes burn and my chest hitches. I laugh like I might be able to hide it. I'm good, really. Wait, you've got some wine on your lip. No, over there, here, let me get it. I sit with the bottle between my knees while the rest of them bicker. The light-hearted jabbing and snickering that comes with being so close in a place like this. Alex wanders over and steals the wine from Cormac, only to hack in disgust when it hits their tongue. When Sadaf comes to kiss the top of Aisha's head, Salvador offers her a drink too, leading to a bout of awkward spluttering when Sadaf reminds them she's Muslim. Besides, she says, resting her cheek against Aisha's temple, it's nasty. There's a knock on the wall beside us. We look up, almost guiltily, like we've been caught slacking off on the job. But it's just Nick, as calm and quiet as always. I have no idea how he does it. How he stays so still when the world falls apart around him. Hey, Salvador says, holding up the bottle to him. Want some? No, Nick says. Benji, can we talk? Right. It's happening. Maybe I can convince Nick to wait, to let me stay here a little longer. But that would be selfish. Everyone turns to me, confused frowns pulling at their masks. Sorry, guys, I say. Gotta go. Wait. Cormac catches my bottle and takes the wine back from Salvador. He adds a little more and tosses it to me, with what I think is a mumbled yeet under his breath. If you're not going to drink it, at least give it to someone who will. If I survive this, if they're still here, I am never leaving them again. We meet in the copy room. I set the plastic bottle of wine on the fax machine because my hands are trembling, and I don't want to make a mess. Nick says, Erin will be here soon. She got tied up with Micah. Yeah, okay. I take off my mask and shove it into my back pocket. My tongue writhes in my throat and I wipe rot off my chin. They're cute together. Nick takes the wine from the fax machine, sniffs it, and takes a cautious sip. His own mask rests under his chin, showing off his squishy teenage cheeks and sharp nose, his tired eyes and hard jaw. The things that made me tell myself I was betrothed and always would be. Doesn't matter now, does it? After what Theo did. Funny how I'll go back to him after he hurts me, but as soon as he hurts the people I care about, he's dead to me. If only I had seen it from the start. Did you try this? Nick asks, holding up the wine to the light. No, I admit. You can have it if you want. Fine. Trade. In exchange, he gives me the trans bead lizard he finished last night. I cradle it in my hands, admiring the pale pink, baby blue, and gentle white. All I can manage is thank you, even though I want to say, this is the first time I've gotten to hold something with my colours. For some reason, a small laugh bubbles up from my chest. With my ruined mouth, it doesn't sound much like laughter at all. But Nick seems to know what it is because his face screws up and he says, What? Nothing, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it out loud. Fuck my betrothal. Fuck Theo. Fuck everything else. I say, I was just thinking about kissing you. Nick says, slowly, Why? Why? Because he's handsome? Because we've been through things that make me feel like I've known him forever? Because he's the most stable thing in my life right now? Because I want something good for once? Because the idea of leaving him terrifies me so much more than it ever did to leave Theo. And that has to mean something, right? Because I want to, I say. Nick's throat bobs. I don't think... And I know it wouldn't work because look at me, right? And you don't like being touched. I respect that. Kissing is like really weird if you think about it too hard. I just thought you should know how I feel before all this happens, in case I don't get to see you again. He doesn't meet my eyes. I should have kept my mouth shut. I made it weird, I say. Didn't I? I don't like kissing, Nick says. I'm going at this from the wrong angle. He's focusing on the kissing, not everything around it. Not what I actually need to say. Nick, I'm using kissing you as shorthand for the fact that I like you. Oh, Nick says. And then, oh. And then, I don't know why you... And a few other half-hearted, aborted protests that make an ache in my chest grow heavier and heavier before finally he lands on. I don't know how this works. I shake my head. It's fine, we don't have to talk about it. No. He takes a half step away and taps the back of his neck with his palm like he's trying to knock his thoughts loose. He says, I don't know how to tell if I like someone. I don't know how it works, and I don't want to be wrong. He says, I don't know why you would like me. I don't understand. He says, there are no rules for this. It scares me. I never thought Nick could be scared of anything. Really? I don't want to be wrong. People get hurt when I'm wrong. Nick, that's not... Salvador nearly died because of me, Nick says. Because I made a mistake. Because I was wrong about something. I see the scars again. Up and down their face, warping skin, painful. And the hurt in Nick's voice is enough to answer every question I've ever had about these old wounds. So don't say that. I swallow hard. I'm tough enough to handle it. I swear. But what if I lose you? Now I'm echoing him. Oh. What if he loses me? What if I lose him? What if all this goes to hell and we end up with bullets in our heads and the angels standing over our bodies? What if it all goes right, but I turn into a monster that isn't worth loving? What if all of it is for nothing? Then we can figure it out if I come back, I say. Or we don't have to worry about that anymore. Okay, he says. Okay. And he reaches for me and pulls me in until our foreheads touch, until our noses bump together and his breath warms my cheek. God, he's so warm. This is the last time I will be safe for days, but it might as well be forever. I'm terrified. I could stay here for the rest of time if the world would just let me. When, Nick says, when you come back, when I come back, we can talk about it. We can face whatever the hell this is. We can figure it out. When I come back. Okay. Are you ready? He asks. Fuck no. Nobody in their right mind would be. Here. He takes a piece of paper out of his pocket and slips it into mine. Promise you won't read this until later. I wonder if it's the I'm sorry again. I promise. The door creaks open and we step away from each other. Stale air rushes into the space between us. I have to keep myself from reaching for him, from pulling him back to me, because it feels so empty without him. Erin steps into the room, face flushed and eyes wide. All right, she says. It's now or never. Nick offers me an awkward, perfect smile before he puts up his mask. I smile back, the best I can, and step out into the hall. The three of us walk to the lobby. I swear the hall lasts forever. My mask is down, my sleeves rolled up, what's left of my heart beating holy, holy, holy in my throat. We step inside. John 8:32. The truth will set you free. I say, hey guys. People turn, confused to hear someone raise their voice in the quiet. Then they realize what they're seeing all at once, and the silence could kill. Hi again. It's not enough. All the planning in the world, all of Erin's reassurance and Nick's control, and it's not enough. The quiet goes on too long. The staring, the terror lodged in my lungs. It's long enough that I wonder if Seraph is playing tricks on me, more than the feathers at the edge of my sight and the tooth buried in the courtyard. It has frozen this moment and is forcing me to take it all in, to recognize the fear in my friend's eyes. Cormac reaching for a gun that isn't by his side anymore. Aisha's back pressed against the wall, trembling. I promised I would be good. I should have known it wouldn't be enough. It isn't until Carly audibly whimpers that I realized it isn't Seraph. It's just us. What's left of us. All terrified of one another. Nick puts a hand on my shoulder and squeezes. I can feel the tension in his fingers, like he's putting everything he has into this little touch. Easy, he says. I'm not sure if he's talking to me or everyone else. Everything's okay. Benji, go ahead. I don't know what to say. What is there to say at all? I'm a monster standing among the living. A boy made of raw meat and dying flesh. It's me. Sadaf saves me. She springs off the floor and runs to me, skirts billowing out in a pastel cloud. Aisha tries to grab her, then Faith, but she slips between their fingers and comes to a stop just inches away. Her soft hands clasp what's left of my cheeks. Her eyes glimmer. I knew it, she cries in triumph. I knew something was going on. I didn't think it could be the flood, since it was moving too slowly, but I knew it had to be something. Oh, are you contagious? I shake my head. Didn't think so. You wouldn't do that. My chest twists painfully. She has no idea. Sama, Aisha, come look at this. That sort of breaks the spell of terror. People come up, one by one, slowly. Faith whispers, does it hurt? Salvador picks me up off the ground in a hug, saying, you freaky bastard. Erin leans against the wall, thumping with relief. Nick smiles down at his feet. One of his hands is going tip, tip, tip. There's a happiness to it I've never seen before. So, Alex says, watching me cautiously beside the radio. Why are you telling us this now? What's wrong? Sadaf leans forward to watch how my mouth works when I speak. I'm turning into an abomination. A grace. I grew up in New Nazareth. I was an angel. Cormac's eyes snap to Nick, but he does nothing. A few people glance away, like they can't bear to look at me while I speak. Like I'm something they have to reconcile now. I ran away, but before I did, they infected me with a special strain of the flood that's turning me into a grace called Seraph. I can actually control other graces, talk to them, ask them to help. So Seraph is really, really important to the angels, and they're not going to stop tearing apart the city until they get me back. A deep breath, a steadying one, long and slow. So I'm going back to New Nazareth, I say. And if you'll have me, if you'll help me, I'm going to burn it to the ground. Quiet. Look at all these people, the silence says, who have rejected you. You were wrong. But Sadaf's smile still gleams in her eyes. Aisha totters to her feet, pressing both her hands to her mask. Salvador begins to laugh, and Ned is infectious. Cormac claps a hand on my shoulder, and Faith yanks me away to wrap me in her arms. And I am not alone. I am not alone. Looks like we can't get rid of you that easy, Alex sighs. I will be good. I will make the angels fucking suffer. Theodore. Chapter 26. Do you believe in God? I do. Please stop. There's so much blood. Theo prays at the foot of the nest, and the words come out rotten. Less words and more stomach acid, or whatever terrible thing is forcing itself up this time. It's taken root in his organs, festering with maggots and eating him alive. No matter how hard he pulls, you just can't get the sick parts out. He's ruined everything, like he always does. So many people have been sacrificed to get Benji back. Squad Rapture, cut down by the heretics days ago. Squad Dominion, who haven't returned from their hunt and probably never will. Squad Crucifix, who Sister Kipling says might still be out there, but there's no use in hoping. The children, clergy, and everyone that day at Reformation. And all for what? For Theo to fail, like he always does? Theo presses his face into his dusty, torn-up palms. He'd be lucky if his punishment is just execution in the culling fields. He'll be hung from the gate. He'll choke on his own intestines. Or maybe his father will drown him in the river like an unwanted newborn, hold his head under water until his lungs flood and he slowly, slowly stops struggling. This was supposed to be something wonderful. No, more than wonderful. Something perfect. He spent so long praying for this. A chance to get Benji back, to get his father back, to get his dignity back. And it was finally in his hands, glimmering like a star plucked from heaven just for him. Sister Kipling's own words. We need your help. And he wasted it. He has to make this right. He has no other choice. Reverend Mother Woodside made sure he knew. His father made sure he knew. Every member of the death squads made sure he knew. Make it right, or die. Oh Lord, he starts again, because he has to. He has to. My heart is rotten with sin. It is in every cell, and there is no part of me that is good. Yet you still love me. He has to keep saying it, or he'll forget. It's so easy to forget. I have fallen short of your infinite glory, but you are still here. I wash my soul in the blood of the Lamb and ask that you fill me with your spirit and guide me to where I need to be. Through Jesus Christ I pray. When the prayer slowed to a trickle, the last strings of bile on a sick man's lips, finally, Theo wipes his chin and faces Reformation Faith Evangelical Church. Squad absolution is falling apart at the seams. With 2 squads missing in as many days, they arrived late last night on Mother Woodside's orders, and now the soldiers pace like trapped animals. They snap at one another, snarling over imagined slights. A few hours ago, a knife was drawn over a stolen cigarette. Their white robes are speckled with gentle spots of colour. Rainbow light filtering through stained glass windows, and the beauty of it makes Theo's breath catch for just a second. The angels in their robes and the glory of God and everything. But one of the soldiers notices Theo is done praying and shoves him against the altar. The nest of graces behind them keens, dozens of mouths wailing in unison. Don't fucking look at me, the soldier hisses. Brother Hussock is twice Theo's size and almost twice his age, a truck driver who found God just weeks before Judgment Day. I wasn't, Theo whimpers, but he stops because if God sees fit to punish him this way, then he should keep his mouth shut and take it. He was the one who let Benji leave the church. He's the reason heaven moves further away every hour. Forgive my unforgivable trespass. Cleanse me from unrighteousness. Benji was going to save them. Benji was going to make the world perfect again. Only then could the angels come home to God's arms. Without Benji, there's nothing but a long, suffering existence in this world, and hell in the next. Make it right or die. He will be faced with flames. Every angel will burn. God's wrath will come crashing down now and forever. Brother Hussock, please. The softness of the voice shocks Theo for a moment. Every member of Absolution turns to find Sister Kipling emerging from the back of the church, the golden sash of her robe glimmering in the sun. Every mouth shuts, and every head dips in reverence, for there is a saint of saints among them. The creator of the flood, Seraph's godmother, the blacksmith of the sword of God. There's no need for this, she says. Of course, sister, Brother Hussock says, eyes downcast. Sister Kipling, with the gentlest of smiles, holds out a hand, one with a cross carved into the back. Theo is at her side as quickly as he can make it. It's pitiful, but he can't stop himself. She sits him down in one of the far pews and folds herself up beside him, watching as Squad Absolution goes back to its routine of pacing, checking weapons, staring blearily out the broken front door of the church. You must give them time, Sister Kipling says. Her voice is no louder than a whisper. Her eyes focus on nothing in particular, staring thousands of feet away. God's will finds a way. She reminds Theo of his mother. They have the same mousy hair, the same shrewd face. The only difference is that Theo wonders if Sister Kipling purposefully avoids the sunlight or if her ghoul-pale skin is a coincidence. I know, Theo says. He's always known. He watched his mother walk away from their family to make the world right, knowing she would never come back. She and Father Clevenger went to the heart of the non-believers, unleashed the flood unto them, and accepted that they would die to do what needed to be done. Theo had always accepted the same, but he had so much to do before that day. Benji was always a part of that. The thing is, Benji has his priorities wrong. Benji puts people first. It makes him sweet, but it makes him weak. Theo puts the angels first, puts righteousness first, puts God first. He always has. His fingers dig into his scalp. He can't even get that right. He loves Benji. They were supposed to save the world together, and somehow they both managed to mess everything up. Theo says, "It's my job to make it right." Theodore, Sister Kipling murmurs. It is. It is his job to make everything right. And he will. When he does, he will have Benji back by his side. His father will look him in the eye, and the death squads will realize the mistake they made when they cast him out. It will work out. It has to. God is good. He'll come back eventually. He said he would. I can talk to him about how it's too dangerous out there, that it's better to come home. Another soldier, Brother Roland, picks up his head. There's not enough time. There's always time, Theo counters, because it's something his mother always said. Fuck that. Brother Roland puts a cigarette between his lips and strikes a match. We should just cut off her legs and be done with it. Let her try and run like that. How dare he? That language in a holy place. That is not how you treat a warrior of God. That bitch took everything. Brother Roland's voice cracks through the atrium. Sister Kipling stares at nothing and does not say a word. I'm not going to burn just because you can't put a heretic in her place. Bang. Something hits the remnants of the door. Brother Roland drops his cigarette. Theo could choke on his heart climbing into his throat. The sound echoes, bang, 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 bouncing off the rafters and deep into the cavity of Theo's chest. A person steps into the sanctuary, backlit by the sun, hair turned copper, a halo. Theo recognizes him immediately, and when his name comes to him like a prayer, it is the first that has tasted sweet in days. He whispers, Benji? Benji crumples to the floor. Theo is out of his seat, stumbling over his legs, catching himself on the pews. Benji. What happened to him? His face looks like it was put through a shredder. His clothes are torn, his arms are blistered and flayed. Theo falls to his knees in front of him. Benji, he says. Benji, look at me. He pulls the tiny boy into his lap, gathering him against his chest, pressing his face to the ruined flesh of his cheek. I'm right here. What happened? Are you okay? Benji chokes. The word sounds awful. Theo can't believe what the flood has done to him, what Seraph has done. Sister Kipling will be so proud. Mother Woodside will be so proud. His father will be so proud. Benji has come back to him. We found out. Benji is sobbing without tears, a painful hitch in his words. The nest howls. They found out about Seraph and they hate me. Oh, Ben, Theo murmurs. You'd known they would eventually, but he doesn't say that. In a good relationship, there's no need for petty shit like, I could have told you so. Benji would realize Theo was right on his own, and they could talk about it then. Weakly, his voice so small Theo can barely hear it, Benji says, I want to go home. Theo would hold him here forever if he could. The angels are saved, and everyone in Reformation Faith Evangelical Church can feel it. I do too, Theo says. Thank God, thank God, thank God. Let's go home.